Hey guys and welcome to the channel. Today I will be doing a what if, which is what if Deku became a demon slayer part 6. I did not make this what if fan fiction. The author of this amazing fan fiction is Lorenzo J10, so please support their work. Chapter 31. After the fight. The battle of the USJ had been intense and had left many wounded, some more than others. You have severe internal bleeding. Every single bone in your body is either fractured and/or broken, the muscles in your arm are shredded, and despite all of this you still want me to send you home, said Yashiro. MMMMMMMPH was all the noise a mummified Bakugo could make as he laid in the hospital bed wrapped head to toe in bandages. Yashiro had seen some stubborn patients before, but Bakugo took the cake. You have got to be the thickest student I have ever seen. The damage in your body was so bad, if me or Tomo hadn't been there you would have died. It's a goddamn miracle that you could still move, though I'm chalking that up to your willpower or overall stupidity. I don't know who was more stupid, you for designing that weapon or UA giving you the all clear to use it. Growled Bakugo. Yeah, I'm not letting you back up anytime soon. Even with recovery girl's quirk, you're still too injured to go back to class, and 2, I think this will be a good idea so you can reflect on how stupid that was. Bakugo gave him a death glare. Glare at me all you want, but I'm not letting you leave until you've fully recovered, though I will give you credit for the weights. Bakugo stopped glaring. We all thought those were simple weights for some old-fashioned training, but now I see you had them spread out along your spine to disperse the recoil from your explosions. It's most likely the reason you're still alive, but don't think we'll be fooled again. We're watching you now, understand? Bakugo tried to curse out Yashiro. Wow, even wrapped up like that he still has a mouth, said Ye as she and Izuku walked into the room. Sup old man, Chihuahua. Izuku bowed. He still had several bandages on himself but was in better condition than Katsuki. Hello sensei, Katsuki. How's he doing? As Bakugo gave Ye a death glare and tried to yell at her. Bakugo will have to stay put for a few more days, he should be out before the sports festival. Though I must say, Izuku, your childhood friend is a piece of work. I can't tell if he's crazy or stupidly brave to pull off a stunt like that. That Bakugo being Bakugo, said Izuku, scratching his head. How are you two doing with your injuries? Asked Yashiro. Ye lifted her shirt slightly. Doing just fine, old man. My stomach is almost completely healed, and that was the only real injury I had. I may have gotten more injured, but they were mostly minor, so I'm doing pretty good, said Izuku. We actually came by today to check on the others. Yashiro nodded. Tomo should be checking on Tsuyu and Kirishima. Both of them should be getting the all clear to go home today. Aoyama, 13, and this idiot here will have to stay a little longer. Their injuries are by far the most severe. Hey old man, why don't you ask Eri to heal them, or use the tea stuff, asked Ye. I don't want to rely on Eri's power, and as for the tea, the bean we use grows slowly so we can spread it out more by turning it into tea, but the healing effect lessens. That and healing is a good lesson not to do something so reckless. Roared Bakugo again, causing Ye to laugh and Izuku to smile slightly. By the way, where's Melissa? She went with Mina and Ochako to check on Tsuyu and the others. She was worried about her, especially the way she talked about the villain that attacked her. Yashiro hummed for a moment. I see. Well, please keep an eye on Anjui, please. She's been through a lot. Izuku and Ye nodded and left, as Yashiro remembered his conversation with Tsuyu. I'm sorry, but could you please repeat yourself? He asked, now feeling a cold chill going up his spine. From the top, please. Tsuyu was currently sitting in a hospital bed with several bandages around her body covering the many cuts Rue gave her. Though the worried look Yashiro was giving her didn't make her feel better in the slightest, she did as she was asked and retold the events that happened the day of the USJ. In the end, he let me go when I told him I wouldn't be able to look at my siblings the same way if I just ran away. That's when the look in his eyes changed. I think he was forced to be there against his will. I know he hurt me and my classmates, but I think he had to do this for his family. I don't think he's a bad person, I think he needs help." Suyu finished but noticed that Yoshiro wasn't paying attention anymore. He was clearly lost in thought as she could tell his mind was going into overdrive. "Yoshiro-sensei?" Yoshiro snapped back to reality. "Sorry, Azui, my mind went elsewhere. Don't worry, we will catch these villains and the one that hurt you and your classmates. Please give him a chance," said Tsuyu, stopping Yoshiro. "When I spoke about my family, I saw his face twist with sorrow. He needs help." Yoshiro wanted to say no, but decided to leave it there for now. "We will see what we can do." Yoshiro looked out the window. "All for one, you really have opened Pandora's box, you stupid brat." At Takoba Beach, a woman could be seen staring at the ocean and far beyond that at the sun. She was wearing a white dress, with pale skin and long white hair. She was currently holding her sandals as she let the ocean waves wash over her toes and her body to soak up the sun. Not too far from her was a large muscular man sitting on a rock watching her. He was wearing a black jacket with a white tank top underneath, with black pants. This man had gray skin and 4 purple eyes on his face and a chiseled jaw. Despite the eyes, nothing else was wrong with his face. His hair was wrapped up in a knot on the back of his head, moving his hair out of his face. Rue was watching both of them for a while. He then got enough courage to cough to get their attention. "You two seem to be enjoying yourselves." The woman didn't respond as she continued to stare out into the ocean. The man decided he would speak instead. "My mouth this time isn't filled with teeth and this jaw allows me to speak properly, so no real complaints here, though I'm a little bit surprised with my vocabulary. Who did this body belong to before? I think it was originally a PE teacher." "That makes a bit of sense, I guess. You're human again, or more human than we used to be, so that may be why you can think more clearly. No more mindless monster. You're now a fully functioning person and I'm not holding you back anymore." "Why?" asked the woman as she still stared out to the ocean. She slowly lifted her hand. "Why this?" Rue didn't say anything for a moment. "Well, my blood was flooded inside you when you died, so when you were brought back that was the appearance you took. If it bothers you, there are surgeries nowadays to change your looks." The woman turned to them. "Why did you bring us back, Rue? Are we to be your mother and father again? Do you wish for us to be a family once more?" Rue almost laughed at the question. "No, let's be honest, we weren't really a real family to begin with." "Then why?" she repeated. Rue looked down for a moment and thought of the right words. "I wanted you guys to have a chance to live how you wanted to live. I took your freedom in the past and now I want to give it back." Rue then turned to leave the beach. "Your life is yours to live how you choose. Not by me or anyone else." "Where are you going?" she asked. "I'm leaving, you won't have to deal with me again for the rest of your lives." He then stopped for a moment as he took out 2 wallets from his hoodie pocket and put them on a large rock. "Inside are credit cards with enough cash for you two to restart your lives." He then continued walking. "Aren't you supposed to bring us back?" said the man. "That's my problem, not yours," said Rue. "I wish you both well in whatever you decided to do." Both adults watched as Rue walked away, both unsure of what to do or what is to come. Oh. While Class 1A was given some time off to either heal, Class 1B on the other hand still had classes to attend to, and Gran Torino made sure they were working their asses off. He had them working overtime to the point none of them even thought about Class 1A, well, all but one. If we were there, then we would have won and none of us would have been hurt in the slightest, claimed Monama as he and Class 1B gathered their things to leave for the day.
Oh, just shut up, Monoma, said Cozy Eye. Monoma was getting annoyed.
They already have Demon Slayer and Melissa, who, might I remind you, is All Might's niece.
Now they'll have the news covering them and be way ahead of us.
We need to show them that Class 1B is better than them. We need dash. Slam. Everyone looked to see Yui had slammed her book bag on her table, her hair casting a shadow over her eyes as she walked over to Monoma. My friends almost died, she said quietly as she gave Monoma a cold glare.
Put your ego in check before I do it for you. Monoma was about to respond, but Kendo stepped between the two. Okay, that's enough, you two, break it up.
A lot has happened and now is no time to fight among ourselves. We should be working together to get stronger, so if anything like that happened to us we would be able to handle it like professionals. During this entire time Hibiki was checking her phone and one of her relatives found something interesting.
How about we go and check up on them? This got the class's attention.
You mean go and check up on Class 1A, said Rin.
Hibiki nodded. Kendo is correct, we need to work together and those villains attacked our fellow UA classmates.
We should at least go and show our support.
That sounds fantastic, said Kendo, hoping that will make the class get along and Monoma's ego will take a hit. Alright, I'm in, said Jack.
I was already planning on going, said Yui. According to Melissa, Azui is getting discharged today. Soon the class agreed to go and say something to Class 1A.
Monoma groaned. Fine, I'll tag along. Just so I can see what a terrible job they did. The rest of the class gave him a tired glare.
So what are your plans exactly? Asked the former spider father. Both he and the former spider mother were walking down the street with no destination in mind. The woman stayed silent.
You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. Why are you asking?
She spoke.
Because I have no idea what I'm going to do, he said honestly.
Will you hit me if I refuse to tell you? She asked, causing the big man to stop. He remembered how he treated her all those years ago, forcing her to be the mother against her will.
Would you like to get something to eat? He asked, causing the woman to stop.
It won't make up for anything I've done, but it's the least I can do. The woman thought it over for a moment. Well, all the food we've had so far has been in a disgusting bar and it would give us a moment to sit down and think a bit. Okay, I'm in. The man nodded and looked around the street they were walking down. We got a few choices: a sandwich shop, burgers, noodles, tacos, chicken dash.
Tacos, said the woman as if she hasn't had one in a while. I don't remember having one before, but for some reason it sounds delicious. All right then. The two then walked into the Mexican restaurant.
The restaurant was mostly empty, so it wasn't hard for them to find a seat far away from anyone else to give them a bit of privacy. Welcome, how are you two doing today? Asked the waiter, giving them both menus.
Can I get you both something to drink?
I'll take a water, said the man. A Coke for me, please. Of course, and the owner did get married recently, so we have special discounts on the couple menu if you'd like, said the waiter. For a moment the man tensed, but the woman just smiled. Thanks, but we're fine with the regular menu, the waiter smiled and left. She then saw the man relax a little.
You know, you didn't need to tense up like that. I imagine it isn't hard for people to think we are some sort of relationship.
Apologizes, it's just with our history I didn't think you would appreciate such a misunderstanding, said the man. The woman couldn't help but stare at him in a bit of surprise.
Wow, you really do have a vocabulary now. Were you like that before you met Rue? The man thought for a moment. To be honest, I don't remember much before I became a demon.
I think I was a soldier, and then when I became a demon I just remember wandering the mountains and attacking anyone I saw at night until I ran into Rue. The woman hummed for a moment.
I see. Well, do you at least remember your name?
The man slowly shook his head.
No.
They were silent for a moment.
Well, aren't you going to ask? Said the woman, getting the man's attention. At least my name or something? Will you tell me if I ask?
The woman closed her eyes for a moment as she thought of her past.
Well, now that I think about it, there's not much to say.
I don't really remember much myself, not even my name. The only name I've gone by is Mother, and well, that doesn't exactly fit anymore now, does it? Even mothers need names. I guess that will be on the top of both of our lists. Find good names for us to use, he said while she nodded in agreement. Soon they ordered their food and enjoyed their first real meal in centuries. Until they felt a chill go up their spines. Oh! Class 1B was making their way down the street. They were having small talk, aimlessly about classes and training, and if they should bring some of the other students of Class 1A will be there, or if they should bring gifts. Well, if we do get them something, it's got to be more than just a melon, said Tessitisu. It's got to be something that will reinvigorate their fighting spirit. Really, dude, said Juzo. Most of them didn't get that injured, only a few. Rin stopped as he ran into Jack, who was walking in front of him. Jack, why'd you stop?
Hibiki turned to see Jack frozen and something coming out of his mouth.
Jack, are you breathing smoke? Jack quickly slapped his hand over his mouth.
I need to go and make a quick phone call, as he turned to go down a side street.
Wait, Jack, said Kendo, trying to stop him. Don't worry, I'll catch up with you guys, said Jack. Once he was out of sight, he took out his phone and went to his small contact list and clicked on a name. Come one, pick up. Hello. Mr. Yushiro, it happened. My powers reacted to something. This got Yushiro's attention. Reacted? How? Was it the same way after you got your powers? Yeah, almost exactly like when I met with you after I got my powers, but I don't see a dash. Jack stopped as he looked down an alley and saw a boy wearing a hoodie staring right at him. Demon! How the hell are you alive? Yelled Rue. Akaza! Huh? Jack went wide-eyed as he realized what Rue said. If he knows about Akaza, then he really is a demon, one of the older ones like Yushiro, he thought as he remembered his first meeting with Akaza. Rue's mind was now going at light speed as it seemed the world froze around him. What the hell is going on here? I was just sitting down eating a sandwich while I thought of some sort of excuse to tell Shigaraki, and now I'm faced with the third upper moon. Wait a minute, Akaza didn't have blonde hair, and while this boy does resemble him greatly, he isn't as old as Akaza. Yet this feeling he's giving me is without a doubt a demon, and he is wearing a UA uniform. I should eliminate him. Jack's instincts caused him to move and jump out of the way, but as he did he dropped his phone and saw it get cut into pieces. I just got that phone. Rue didn't respond as he swung his string at Jack. Jack dodged left and right as the string flew past him, cutting the wall, lights, and a parked car. He's not messing around, he's going to kill me if I don't go all out myself. Jack jumped over another string attack. Rue looked up in time to see Jack taking his rings off of his arms. What is he? Rue instinct screamed at him. He used his strings to send him backwards as Jack came down fist first, slamming into the ground, crushing the cement beneath him. Rue used this as an opening, whipping his string to cut a killing blow. Jack quickly raised his arms. For a moment Rue thought he was about to cut Jack's arms. To his surprise, Jack was able to catch the string with his arms. What? How? Rue then saw that his arms and the string were now covered in a black substance. That confirms it. That's no quirk. That is a demon blood art. You're a demon, aren't you? Not exactly, said Jack as he twisted his arms, grabbing more string.
But that doesn't change the fact I'm going to kick your ass.
With a mighty roar, Jack pulled Rue towards him by his own strings.
Rue smiled. You're definitely not a Kaza, you're a fool. Rue pulled his arms as he did. The walls of the alley burst around Jack. When he cut the wall, he made a net inside the wall at the same time. Jack quickly focused his power around his hands. Demon blood art, ash burst. Jack thrusted his arms outwards, sending the ash out and around him, causing an explosion, destroying the rubble. Rue tried to take advantage of this and push forward in an attack. This time Jack wasn't backing up. Jack covered his arms in more of his demon ash and punched the string coming at him. Seeing this, Rue then pulled on his string, causing the ground below to break, making Jack lose his footing. Shit! Gotcha!
Yelled Rue as a circle of string began to close around Jack.
Jack saw this.
Going to need to go full blast before dash. Something pushed Jack downwards below the line of sting. Jack turned to see that someone pushed him down, but his saber was now being cut by the strings.
Setsunea!
His classmate had taken the hit for him and was cut into several pieces as a result. Rue saw this happen as the girl was sliced into chunks of flesh on the ground. A UA girl, Rue then saw Jack bending over the remains of the girl, saying something too quietly for the demon to hear.
A classmate of yours?
She was our classmate. Rue turned behind him to see a charging Iron Tessitisu with tears running down his face.
You bastard! Rue jumped out of the way of the boy, another UA brat.
Rue then felt something cut his cheek. Past Tessitisu was Rin firing scales and Pony firing her horns at him.
Rue dodged the scales before using his strings to grab Tessitisu and use him as a shield.
Tessitisu took the scales, but the horns curved in the air and moved around the Iron Boy and aimed right at Rue.
Shit!
Rue let go of Tessitisu as he backflipped to dodge the horns. As he did, he saw something coming from above.
Big fist slam as Kendo came down, slamming into Rue, putting him into the ground.
As Kendo stood over Rue, she could see that he was still conscious and still able to move.
I don't know what the hell is going, but it ends now.
Kendo, get away from him now, he's dangerous, yelled Jack.
Huh? This kid?
You should listen to him, said Rue as he whipped his hands upward.
Before the strings hit Kendo, she was pulled backwards by Reiko.
I got you, she said. Rue sat up and continued his attack. Kozai jumped forward and made a massive wall of air with his breath, though it only stopped the strings long enough for them to get out of the way as the strings cut right through the wall Kozai made. Holy shit, he cut the wall as if it were made of butter. Rue lifted his arms for an attack but was stopped when Jack came from behind and grabbed his wrists.
Stop right now.
I have things I have to do, said Rue as he then displayed excellent flexibility by kicking Jack in the face by extending his leg over 90 degrees. It was enough for Jack to lose his grip in one hand. He then used his other hand that still had a grip on Rue to throw him away from him and the others. When Rue landed, he turned to the UA students and then down to his leg.
This body is flexible.
Now that I think about it, I never did ask where this body came from and what quirk it originally had.
Going to need to ask about that later.
Now Setsuna, screamed Jack, breaking Rue out of his thoughts. Rue instantly felt something off as he felt several objects hit and attach to his body, mainly to his limbs and hands.
What the hell? He looked to see that they were bits of a human's body.
Hiya, Rue looked over his shoulder and saw a floating head right next to him.
You're the girl I killed.
The one that took the blow for Bo. Rue stopped as he remembered the moment.
There was no blood.
This is your quirk.
Yep. I ain't suicidal.
I saw from a distance that the only way for Jack to dodge your strings was from below. Now that I think about it, he most likely had a plan to deal with it, but my body just kind of moved in the moment, she said as more pieces of her body moved to secure Rue from moving.
You planned this. That's why you didn't move till now, said Rue as he pieced it together. Not me, Jack did, she said as her classmates walked forward. When he remembered what my quirk was, he told me not to move and wait until you were close enough for me to grab you. Setsuna, you're okay, screamed Tessitisu while tears came out of his eyes. Yeah, don't you remember her quirk during our training sessions, said Yui. Go easy on him, said Jack, dusting himself off. I forgot about it for a moment. Rue looked around and he was now surrounded by Class 1B. Shit. He then tried to move his fingers, but they were surrounded by too many pieces of Setsuna to properly move. Shit, he screamed in his head. This is bad. If she's able to keep me like this for too long, then I'll get captured. If that happens, All for One won't let me bring any of them back. Okay, can someone please tell me what just happened? Asked Jirota. Yui stepped forward and looked at Rue. A young boy with a string quirk was one of the villains that attacked the USJ and was the one that put Suyu in the hospital. You're part of the League of Villains. There was an audible gasp from the students of Class 1B. That's when Monoma started laughing. See, I told you we could do better than Class 1A. We caught one of the villains they missed. Shut up, Monoma, said Kendo before turning to Jack. Is this why you left to confront this kid? Somewhat. Originally I wasn't going to fight him, as he knelt down and picked up the remains of his phone and showed everyone. I was actually going to call this in when he attacked me, and while I fought back because of it. I see you weren't trying to be a vigilante, you were just trying to protect yourself, said Kendo before clapping her hands. Okay people, we have a criminal, time to call it in. Way ahead of you, said Aways as he was already talking to an emergency operator. Rue looked on in horror. Oh no, this is not good. I need a miracle. What are you kids doing? Said a miracle. All the students including Rue turned to see a woman standing in the street in a hero costume. MT lady, said the class. Hey MT lady, what's going on? Asked Kamui Woods as he rounded the corner along with Death Arms. Monoma decided to show off a little. Have no fear, my class has the situation handled, you don't need to dash. Help me, said an innocent voice. They all turned to see Rue now sporting puppy dog eyes and a quivering lip. Please help me, these big high schoolers are bullying me and my friends. Hoa screamed Class 1B in shock as they realized what he was doing. What? No. That's not at all what's going on here, said Kendo in a panic. That orange hair lady hit me. Step away from the child, said Death Arms. No wait, this is a villain, said Jack, stepping in between the heroes and Rue. He helped the orange hair lady to beat me up, said Rue now with tears coming down his eyes. Help me, I'm scared. Shut it, you damn brat, said Tessitisu covering Rue's mouth. I've seen enough, said Kamui Woods as he jumped in the air. La Cure Chain Prison. Kamui Vines extended, capturing all of Class 1B, except for one who decided to hold back and see how this would play out. Wait, we're not criminals. We're the good guys here. Please listen to us. All of Class 1B tried to tell the heroes the truth, but they weren't listening. Quiet all of you, don't make this worse than it has to be, said Kamui as he made another vine grabbing Setsuna and Rue. Setsuna tried to fight Kamui's pull. Let go of him now. Setsuna was now very conflicted. She knew she was holding a bad guy, but at the same time she knew she would have to listen to the heroes. Don't do it, Setsuna, screamed Jack. If you let him go, we're dead. Okay, that's enough here, said Death Arms as he grabbed Rue and forcibly removed Setsuna. Nta lady, take the boy, as he handed Rue off to Nta lady. Nta lady gave Rue the best hero smile. Hey, you alright? I am now, miss, said Rue, giving her his best smile, though on the inside he was gagging. I can't believe I'm doing this.
And oh, yelled Jack as he used his power to break from Kamui's hold and jumped at Rue only to be intercepted by Death Arms. The hero gave Jack a massive bear hug, pinning his arms. Hold it, kid, you're just making it worse for yourself. Wait a minute, you're wearing a UA uniform, said the hero. That's because we're UA students, sir, said Yui. Then you should be ashamed of yourselves, you're trying to be heroes, aren't you? Picking on a little kid isn't how heroes work, said Death Arms. That thing isn't a kid, said Jack. Whatever, we'll settle this when we bring you all down to the station, said Death Arms. Rue smiled as he saw him till Lady turn to look at the students. Well, that won't do. As he made more string in his hands. Now watching from the sidelines was the one student that the heroes didn't pin down. She took out a small compact mirror. Useless, I understand my classmates not being able to do anything, but the heroes being idiots is another. Though this does give me a chance to get on their good side, and I can't let some like him get away. He might have something, said Hibiki as she took her hand mirror and broke it. I guess I have to be the hero now. As she formulated a plan. Chapter 32, Still Fighting. Whoa, hey, look, something is happening by the sandwich shop, said the waiter of the restaurant. That was a good meal, said the man as he saw that the woman had been staring out the window. Are you worried it might be Rue? The woman then looked at the man with an emotionless look. If it was, he'll be fine. Rue was a powerful demon. The man didn't respond. Are you worried about him? He gave us a second chance, do you think he deserves one? The woman didn't respond. Oh. A majority of Class 1B were now panicking because they all were currently trapped in Kamui Wood's vines, and the criminal that they were trying to capture was now being protected by the heroes. Please just listen to us, pleaded Kendo. That boy is with the League of Villains. He was trying to kill us. Until Lady looked at the students and then to Rue before going back to the students. You all do realize this is a kid, right? That kid sliced me into chunks of meat, said Setsuna, who was currently in one piece, which caused the heroes to look at her in disbelief. She then rolled her eyes before separating herself into several different pieces. This is my quirk. If I didn't have this, then I would be dead, right? Death Arms was still holding Jack down, but took a look at each of the students and they all were saying the same. Hey kid, he said, getting Rue's attention. Did you try killing these students? Oh come on, Death Arms, said Ntilei. Do actually believe a kid could do all this damage? Kamui Woods looked at Rue. It does seem hard to believe someone so young could do all this damage. Rue was going to continue to play innocent when he heard sirens coming down the streets. Shit, thought I would have more time. Ha! Well, I was going to try and sneak away, but now if you heroes follow me, this blonde bimbo dies, said Rue, dropping the act. Wait, what? Said Ntilei before she felt something begin to choke her. She fell to her knees as she started gagging. Ntilei, said Kamui Woods. Rue pulled on the string, forcing Ntilei's head upward, showing her neck was wrapped up in his string. Don't move. I have a hostage, I ain't afraid to kill her. Get up, as he pulled the string hard, forcing Ntilei to get on her feet. Now I'm going to take my meat shield here and leave. If any of you try anything, I'm going to remove her head from her body. Rue then started walking away when the police arrived. What the heck is going on? Asked an officer. Kamui Woods pointed at Rue. That boy is a villain. This earned him a glare from all of Class 1B. We've been saying that this entire time, you idiot, said Monoma, and for the first time all of his classmates agreed with him. Can you let us go now? Asked Kendo as Kamui released Class 1B. And can you let me go as well? Said Jack as Death Arms got off of him and ran up the street to see Rue slowly walking away with him to Lady. Kid, let her go, said Death Arms. You're only making this worse for you, young man, said Kamui Woods.
Roy ignored them and continued on his path. You don't want to do this, think of your family. Images of Rue's human family flashed in his head and then his demon family. Shut up, said Rue as he noticed more police around him. Death Arms then gave it a try. Come, you're just a kid, not a killer. Rue raised his hand using his string to sever MT Lady's right arm. Screamed the hero as pain filled her body. She quickly reached for her where her arm used to be. The scene shocked the hero to their core. The police froze and the students watched in shock. MT Lady, screamed Kamui. Rue used his string and threw the arm at Kamui, who caught it. Now if that doesn't make this shit clear, back off or else I end her. Movie said to MT Lady, who had tears flood her eyes as she tried not to black out from the pain. She had never felt such pain before in her life, it was too much for her. She started breathing heavily as she realized she was going to die. She looked to Rue's emotionless face and knew that this boy was going to kill her. Rue had no time for her shock. I need to get out of here now, move. He then saw something shining in the corner of his eye. Rue turned in time to see a shard of a mirror cut his string, holding him to Lady. What? Now, screamed Hibiki. Rin, Pony and Tagaru fired their quirks, aiming right between Lady and Rue, while Setsuna and Reiko used their quirks to grab Lady out of the way. Rue had no choice but to jump away or get hit. Rescue completed, she shouted. She then saw Lady was passed out from the pain. Reiko, use your quirk and keep pressure on that arm. It was a clean cut, so we might be able to save it. Rue turned and began to run down the street, but ran face first into a wall of air. You've got to be kidding me. You ain't getting away this time, said Kozai, riding Jirota as they began making more walls of air around him. Then the ground burst below Rue as he then got tangled in several vines bounding his hands. Rue turned to see a girl with vines for hair, smiling as her vines were digging in the ground. Rue was now wrapped in vines and trapped in a box, and to top it off he was surrounded by heroes and cops. I guess I ain't getting another miracle. After Death Arms checked on Lady with Kamui Woods, he decided to leave it to Kamui as he went to make sure Rue was captured. You kid, are in so much trouble, he said to Rue, who didn't really react at all. And you kids are in so much trouble as well, he said to the UA students. Are you kidding me, said Hibiki. We just did your job. Whoa there girl, slow down, said Kendo. Let's just relax right for now and look out, as Kendo enlarged her hands and pulled both Death Arms and Hibiki out of the way as a car landed right where they were standing. What was that? Yelled Jack as something else crashed into the ground right next to Rue. When the dust settled, everyone saw a big pale man. Who the hell is? Rue looked up at the man in shock. He tried to say something, but the box of air wouldn't let any sound out. The man placed his hand on the box and crushed it with ease. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What were you trying to say? As he reached down and tore the vines apart. What the hell are you doing, father? Asked Rue, not realizing until it was too late that he called the man father. I mean Dash. The man smiled. It's fine. Wait, that's your kid? Asked Death Arms as he got into a fighting stance. No, yelled Rue. No, he's not. What are you doing here? The man smiled before turning to the heroes. Saving your hide. Oh. The woman sat on the park bench looking at the 2 plastic cards filled with enough cash to hold her over a long time. What do you mean you're going? Rue didn't have to bring us back, said the man. He gave us a second chance and I think he deserves one as well. The both said nothing for a moment. I'm not going to try and convince you or anything. Here, he then gave her the card of money they got from Rue. You need it more than me. Live a good life, one with no regret.
You might regret this though, said the woman.
He might hurt you and force you to do things against your will.
I don't think so, he's trying right now to redeem himself by bringing us back. He's trying to make up for his mistakes by becoming a puppet himself, a puppet for someone who was just as evil as Muzan. He paused to let the words sink in. I'm going to make my own choice and I'm going to save him. Goodbye and take care, as he ran off in the direction of the fight.
The woman didn't know what to think. That idiot. Oh. Both of you stay right where you are.
You're both under arrest, said Kamui Woods.
Sorry but no can do, said the father spider. We are walking out of here.
They were at a standoff and neither Kamui Woods or Death Arms liked this.
Kamui jumped in the air.
Lacure chain prison, he sent his vines out to snare the two, but Rue jumped on the spider father's shoulder and used his strings to cut the vines before jumping off. The father then used the chunks of broken wood and tossed them at Death Arms.
Death Arms dodged the wood and moved forward to attack.
He punched the father in, but even though Death Arms' quirk was strong, he wasn't as strong as the former demon, who punched Death Arms in the face, sending him back.
Rue then began to counter every move Kamui made by slicing his wooden vines into kindling.
Oh man, those guys are going at it, said Tessitisu as they saw Death Arms get back up and begin to attack the big guy again.
We should get in there and help.
No, said Kendo. As much as I want to help, we are students and don't have our licenses.
But
she's right, said Jack, who wanted nothing more than to go in there and beat Rue and bring him to Yashiro.
We have to sit this one out.
What the heck, came a weak voice. They all turned to see Lady slowly sitting up. She then realized that her arm was gone and began hyperventilating.
My arm. Whoa, relax Lady, we have your arm, said an officer who helped wrap up Lady's stum. I can reattach it, said Awais, getting everyone's attention. My quirk is welding. I can merge things together. Jack put his hand on his shoulder. Have you ever done something like this before?
Not a whole arm, but back in middle school I was able to reattach my friend's thumb after he was being stupid in shop class, exclaimed Awais.
Hold it, said the officer. You kids shouldn't be here, you guys don't have your license yet.
So you're not allowed to use your quirk.
Crash.
They all turned to see Kamui Woods being slammed into the ground. That's it, I'm going in, yelled Tessitisu, only having to be held back by Kendo.
No, you're not, said the officer before taking his communicator out. Attention, we need some hero backup here.
This kid is willing to rush in there, just like that other brat, the one I kept blaming for stealing all the spotlight. What kind of hero am I that kids are doing my job? Lady saw all this and gritted her teeth. Hey kid, put my arm back, she said, surprising everyone.
You heard me do it.
The officer knelt down to her.
Whoa, hold it, I just called back up.
You're in too bad of a condition. Shut it, it's my body and my choice and you don't get to call if I'm good to fight or not.
Jack grabbed Lady's arm.
Do it, and if worse comes to worse, we know one of the best doctors in the world.
Awais nodded.
Okay, he grabbed the arm and lined it up the best he could. He then used his quirk to weld the arm together with her body.
How is it?
Lady was trying her best not to scream in pain. Hurt like a bitch, she then wiggled the fingers a little.
But that hasn't stopped me before. Using her good arm, she stood up. I don't think I can move it much, but I'm in one piece now.
Without warning, Lady charged forward through the students and enlarged herself. Now as a towering figure standing way above the two criminals.
Time for you two to go down.
As she raised her left fist into the air. Both Rue and the father saw this and tried to run. The father grabbed Rue, holding him to protect him from the fist. The fist was coming down on the two when suddenly it changed course, slamming into a building, causing several bits of debris to fall.
My arm, what? The two looked up in a bit of shock that they weren't flattened.
"Lady, what are you doing?" asked the heroes.
"I can't move my arm," she then struggled to move the rest of herself. "I can't move my body. Honestly, I must be the craziest person in existence," said a voice.
As the dust settled, everyone saw a pale woman in a white dress appear.
Rue was now speechless as he saw the woman who he thought would hate him the most walking toward him. "I should have done this a long time ago." She brought her fist down on Rue's head hard, leaving a giant bump, causing him to cradle his head in pain.
"You're grounded."
"Huh," was all he could muster as he looked up at her in disbelief.
"You heard me, I'm grounding you," said the mother.
"Don't look at me like that.
I'm just doing what any other mother would do in a situation like this."
The two just continued staring at her, not really believing she was there.
"Do you two need a moment to wrap your brains around this, 'cause we don't have that kind of time?"
she said as she pulled on her string, causing Lady to start tumbling backwards.
Lady knew if she fell big it would cause a lot of damage, so she shrank in midair. Lucky for her, Kamui Woods was able to catch her.
Death Arms took the opportunity to try an attack.
"Give it a rest," said the father as he punched the guy again, sending him into a police cruiser.
"That guy is stubborn."
"Are you two serious?" asked Rue, getting the two revived demons' attention.
"You guys want to throw in with me again?"
"Why?" They all stopped as they heard something in the air. The three looked up to see the dragon hero Ryukyu.
"How about we talk about this later," said the father, not waiting for a response, and grabbed both Rue and the mother, running at top speed to the rendezvous point with Kurogiri.
Oh. Soon all of the heroes and students found themselves at the hospital, to not only give their statements but to also to get Lady patched up. Yashiro saw her immediately and was working on her arm.
"Nice job, Aways, you were able to reconnect two of the three main nerves in the arm, impressive."
Even though he was complimented, Aways didn't really feel he deserved it. "I just tried what you told me, use my quirk outside of the box, and you were right, my quirk can do a bit more than just merge jump together."
"Yes, but if you're planning on doing this again, I suggest you crack open a few medical books," said Yashiro as he finished up with Lady.
"There you go, all the nerves are reattached and muscles have been repaired. All you need to do is wait for the blood transfusion to be finished to replace all the blood you lost, and then you should be good to go." Yashiro then noticed that Lady and her hero friends in the room were all staring at him wide-eyed.
"What?
How old are you?" asked Lady.
"Seriously, I've been working on your arm for 10 minutes and you ask that now?"
"Hey, I lost a lot of blood, so don't look at me," said Lady before turning to the others.
"Why did you guys let a kid operate on me?"
This caused Yashiro to get a tick mark. "Hey, we were getting ourselves checked out. In fact, Kamui Woods still needs to get checked out," said Death Arms.
"I'm fine," said Kamui Woods.
"Out of all of us, I got the least injured. You got slammed a bunch and Lady lost an arm. Actually, how did you get out so quick?"
"That Tomo lady came in and did the job quickly and effectively.
Though she did say I should take it easy for a few days. My quirk did a good job taking the damage, but apparently my bones were close to cracking and breaking," explained the old hero. "Okay, that answers some questions, but that still doesn't answer the questions about the kids in the room," said Lady.
"Are you even qualified to do this, kid?"
This earned another tick mark from Yashiro.
"I'm the most qualified doctor in this hospital right now."
None of the heroes believed that. Yashiro-sensei is very qualified for this.
"My question is, why am I here?"
"You're the one that made the emergency fix. It is your quirk and I thought I might need it to fix whatever you did," said Yashiro. "And as for the first question you asked, I'm 224 years old and no, that is no joke," as the heroes gave him the look of surprise. "With that said, the nurses can take it from here."
Wait, so my arm is all good? She asked. Yashiro without warning grabbed and pinched the arm. Ow. Yes, he then walked out of the room. Oh. While Yashiro was checking on the heroes, the other students were giving their statements to Detective Naomasa. So to confirm, you weren't trying to do anything related to vigilantism. You tried to call to confirm first that the boy you saw was the same one as the kid that attacked the USJ, and when you did so the boy attacked you and you fought back. Yes sir, said Jack. I honestly wasn't looking for a fight, it was self-defense. But you did use your quirk, correct? Yes, it was self-defense. Is there a problem with that? Unfortunately yes, said a squeaky voice. The students turned to see Nizu riding on All Might's shoulder with Gran Torino in tow along with Vlad. Self-defense laws are a little bit more strict here in Japan. In American it is no problem firing off your quirk in an emergency, but here in Japan there's a lot more paperwork. Hello students, I hope you're alright, said All Might. Kendo was going to confirm that everyone made it out okay, but Monoma decided to be Monoma. Have no fear All Might, Class 1B expertly handled the situation. Kendo was getting angry and chopped Monoma's neck. Sorry about that, he kind of let it go to his head, but I'm happy to report that we all made it out in one piece, no real damage. That's a relief, said Vlad. When I heard my students ran into the League of Villains I got worried. Nizu hopped down from All Might. I know I'm not the first to ask this, but could you please tell us what happened? Of course, said Kendo, telling the story again. The teacher patiently waited as the students told their part of the story, but Nizu and All Might kept noticing Jack as he was lost in thought about the enemy. After they ran, we waited and followed the police's orders from there. Are you sure? They all turned to Yashiro and Tomo, who were standing behind them with a shocked look on his face. Are they a family? Yeah, the kid called them his mother and father, said Kendo. Jack took Monoma from Kendo and slapped him awake. Give me your phone. What? Said a conscious Monoma. I know you were taking pictures, we need to see them. Monoma did as Jack asked and opened his phone, showing everyone the pictures he took. Yashiro saw the pictures, confirming his suspicions. That dumbass did it. This remark confused everyone but a few who knew or had an idea of what Yashiro was talking about. Yashiro, said Nizu, getting his attention. I believe this is a conversation that should be held in private. Let our new army of lawyers handle the legal issues. Vlad, can you make sure our students get back to their parents safely, please? Of course, as their teacher, their safety is my #1 priority, though I am proud of how they handled themselves, said Vlad, complimenting Class 1B. Jack walked up to Yashiro. Yashiro nodded and turned to Tomo. Please go fetch Izuku and Yae, we need to talk. Yes, sir. Oh. So what the hell happened? Asked Shigaraki. The Spider Trio returned to the bar where they found Shigaraki and Overhaul debating something. Though they stopped when they saw the three. I thought you were going to take these two out so they could stretch their feet. Roy thought for a moment as he tried to find the right words but decided to just say it. That's how it started, but we ran into someone with a demon blood art. That caught the other villains' attention, especially All for One over the TV. Explain. I was walking around when I felt the presence of another demon, and it turned out to be a brat from UA. I fought and confirmed with him verbally that his power wasn't a quirk but demon blood art. UA has a demon, said Shigaraki. It's true, said the father. I didn't confront the boy like Roy did, but I could feel him in the crowd of students, the blonde American-looking boy. Well, this is interesting, said Overhaul. You think that this Yashiro person is making demons himself? Shigaraki scratched his chin for a minute. Don't know. Sensei, would this Yashiro guy make more demons?
No, he's not the type of person to do such a thing, but this does mean we are going to have to change our timetables a bit, said All for One as he was already rearranging his plans in his head.
For now we wait and see. Rue, you and your family's talents might be needed soon.
I understand, said Rue as All for One cut communication after reiterating that they need to wait a bit.
So did I miss anything?
A bit, said Overhaul. But who are these two exactly, your parents?
They're, Call me Komori, said the spider mother now named Komori. The father thought for a moment. I didn't really have a name before, so how about Ruin?
Ruin, said both Rue and Komori, a little surprised.
Komori thought for a moment.
That's good for a villain name, but you need a regular name.
How about Koran?
Koran?
What kind of name is Koran? Asked Rue.
It's short for tarantula and Japanese spiders, Kumo, explained Komori.
What? I don't see you coming up with anything.
Koran just shrugged.
Sure, Koran it is, accepting the name.
But by that logic you two need villain names as well.
Making the two think.
You know you don't need villain names, said Shigaraki.
Overhaul turned to him.
So you're going to tell me that Shigaraki, which means funeral, is your birth name?
Shigaraki gave a low growl at the question as his birth name gave off some bad memories.
Fine, do whatever. The two turned back to the spider family.
A spider boy? Lame, think of something better, said Komori. Oh, does that mean you have a name already? Asked Rue.
She smirked before brushing her hair back.
White Widow. White Widow?
That fits, said Koran.
Excuse me, said Kurogiri, getting everyone's attention. While this is somewhat entertaining, I would like to hear more about this demon student of UA. Kurogiri has a point. What do you know about him?
Other than the fact he's a demon, asked Shigaraki.
Well, he is.
Rue paused.
A mystery.
His power feels familiar, similar to a demon I knew hundreds of years ago. The third upper moon Akaze.
Oh. Okay, so I get what happened today, but how do we know this is demon-related? Asked Ye.
Yashiro called a meeting at his house on Emisaigiri and invited Izuku and Ye to be there, along with Jack, Nizu, All Might and Gran Torino.
Do they look like the demons you met all those years ago?
Yashiro shook his head. No, I never met the spider family.
All I know is the information that was written down by the Demon Slayer Corporation. So how exactly do we know?
Me, said Jack, getting her attention.
They reacted to my demon powers.
There was a pause in the room.
You have demon powers, how?
That's something I would like to know as well, said Gran Torino. Jack gathered his thoughts as it was his turn to tell a story. Well, it all started when I was training in China, at the temple.
Jack was currently fighting a Chinese martial artist, in the middle of the temple hall.
He was in his Chinese training gear that the temple gave him. The fighter was good, but Jack could see the pattern and with a well-placed strike brought the fighter down. The fighter then disappeared into green dust. Impressive, said his giant of a sensei Keo-chan. He was a bald man with a white beard. That man was the only winner of the Chinese team in the Grand Ritai tournament a few centuries ago, and you beat him almost flawlessly.
Jack grabbed his towel. Well, the avatars you bring back are just mindless puppets, that alone brings their total power down.
Not really, said the KO.
Some fighters work better without thinking, sometimes thinking too much can be a hindrance rather than a boon.
Jack was breathing hard as he took a long drink from his water bottle. He had been fighting several warriors today, giant sumo wrestlers, silent warriors, and now former champions of the Ritai tournament. When Jack finished his water bottle, he went to put it in his bag when he noticed something. something he had long forgotten about, an old family heirloom.
Hey sensei, can you remind me how your quirk works again?
Ishun, my quirk gives me the power to make copies of people, even people who are dead.
I just need to have something that belongs to them.
Though they won't be able to think or really act on their own, so they can't speak and I can't make more of the same person at a time.
Why do you ask?
Jack then showed him what looked like a pommel that would be at the end of a rope. It was encased in some sort of glass filled with resin.
There's a story in my family about the first Mukyu that left Japan.
He came to the decision to leave Japan. Back then my family was a group of merchants and he had a chance to leave the country and see the world.
Though the rest of the family didn't want him to leave.
He decided to leave after he saw the greatest fight ever.
The greatest fight ever?
Yeah, apparently he was on a train when something strange happened that caused the train to stop. When he looked outside he saw a swordsman of fire fighting a martial artist of great skill. He never did learn what the fight was about or who won, but he did find that piece of rope which the fist fighter was using as a belt. The fight apparently moved him to the point where he fought for his right to travel the world.
Keo-chan saw where this was going.
So this piece of rope belongs to the fist fighter and you want to fight him? Well, I at least want to see if there was any truth to that story. To be honest, I forgot I even brought that thing with me. Might as well see who it belonged to, said Jack, not really thinking much of it. Keo-chan didn't see any harm in it and used his quirk on the small piece of rope in the glass. Suddenly a bright green light engulfed the room. When the light died down, the form of a young man was standing in the middle of the room. The man wore an open vest and baggy pants, though what caught the Kyo's eye the most was the color of his skin. It was tinted green slightly and had strange markings on him.
This isn't right.
As the words came from his mouth, the young man looked at him. Whoa, this guy looks a bit weird, said Jack as he stepped forward for a closer look.
Get back, yelled the Kyo, stopping Jack. This isn't right at all. He then saw the young man turn and look around the room. This isn't how my quirk works. Sensei? Sensei, repeated the young man, getting their attention. Do you know Japanese?
He talked. I thought you said they couldn't speak, said Jack, also now realizing that he had spoken Japanese.
Keo-chan got into a fighting stance. They never talk.
The young man didn't move at the sight of the master getting into a fighting stance.
Jack then tried to speak to him. Hey, can you tell me your name? The man opened his mouth for a moment before closing it. You can call me Akaza. Akaza, my name is Jack. Well, Jack, why am I here?
I remember dying and being on the other side with her, he said with clear sadness in his voice.
With her, repeated Jack in confusion. I order you to disappear, yelled Keo-chan in Chinese.
Both Jack and Akaza turned to him.
I order you to disappear.
This time in Japanese, but nothing happened. He isn't listening to my commands. That has never happened before.
Actually, where am I? Asked Akaza.
You're at a martial arts temple in China, answered Jack. I have a question, said the Kyo.
Are you a demon?
The odd question made Jack confused, but Akaza wasn't confused at all.
Yes, I'm a demon.
The Kyo made a lightning-fast strike that would have broken boulders right at Akaza. For a moment Jack thought his sensei was going to destroy him, but Akaza caught the fist with ease.
My, that's a good strike. The Kyo then continued his attack, but Akaza blocked each and every strike. Impressive form, let me show you one of mine.
Soryo style, chaotic fist. Akaza then made several rapid punches, knocking the Kyo back.
Huh, I was holding back. I didn't think that would knock you down.
HUI, yelled Jack as he tried to deliver a flying kick into Akaza's face, but the man just dodged.
Jack landed and faced Akaza. I'll be your opponent now.
Akaza shrugged. Sure, I don't know why I'm here, but I'll fight you. Jack soon began to attack Akaza, who just merely deflected each of the blows. This kid is good. He clearly has the mastery of several different styles under his belt and he's switching between them flawlessly, thought Akaza. Shit, this isn't working, none of my strikes are reaching him, thought Jack as he tried to fight back Akaza. Then I'll just use his own. Jack then made the same stance as Akaza. Sorya style, chaotic fist. Akaza was dumbstruck as he saw Jack perfectly mimic his form. He was so shocked that Jack was able to land every single hit on Akaza, causing him to step back. He mimicked it perfectly. It didn't have any demon power behind it, but he mimicked it perfectly. Yes, got him, huh, what? Jack realized even though the blows landed, they did almost no damage. What the, does this guy have a quirk? That was incredible, said Akaza, truly amazed at what he just saw. How did you do that? Do you know the Sorya style? Jack raised an eyebrow. Sorya style, no. I was just born with a talent to mimic others, it's not my quirk. I'm quirkless. Quirk, said Akaza, confused. What is a quirk? Suddenly the door swung open fast, pouring in the sunlight into the room, and Akaza was right in front of it. And oh, he yelled as he waited for himself to be destroyed by the sun, but nothing happened. He then slowly looked up at the sun for the first time in centuries. Who are you? Said one of the monks, and then they noticed the KO on the ground. Sir, is everything all right? What happened and who is this? As the monks questioned what happened, Akaza ignored them as he was memorized by the light. He slowly walked outside, continuing to stare upward at the sun. It's so warm. Afterwards, Keo-chan went to call his old friend Yashiro about this, and the monks, including Jack, were to watch Akaza, who just continued to stare at the sun as if it were a magnificent Jew that was lost for eternity. Eventually Jack got curious and started talking with Akaza, and the two began to exchange stories. They both sat down and watched the sun until it set. So you're a real demon, like the one from the old stories? Yep, it was the worst decision of my life, said Akaza. If I could go back, I would stop myself from ever accepting that man's offer. I threw all my humanity away and became nothing more than a tool for a truly evil man. Except it wasn't your fault, right? Those guys, they took Dash. I should have stayed human for them. I should have honored them by living my life by continuing the Sorya style. Instead I twisted it to serve that monster. Jack could tell Akaza was full of regret and self-hate. Part of him could relate to that as he was thrown out of his home. No, he realized now he ran from his home. Maybe I should have stayed. Actually, could you explain that to me one more time? Asked Akaza. It doesn't make much sense to me. You have a natural talent that clearly is incredible, one that I've only seen very few have, and you were shunned for it? I wasn't exactly shunned for it. You see, almost everyone in the world right now has a power that they can use, and only a very few people don't. I was born with a weird talent. Ever since I could walk, I was able to mimic the movements of others. I could even mimic a bale dance that I saw my cousin perform once. Everyone thought my quirk was to mimic other people's movements. I even thought so myself, but it wasn't. My father is a doctor, so when it was time for me to get my quirk checked, he discovered I had an extra joint in my toe, which is a sign that I don't have a quirk, and the other test backed it up. I was quirkless, and he hid that fact from me. I want to be a hero, so I signed up to learn martial arts, and I soon was able to climb the ranks, learning as much as I could. I was winning tournament after tournament with nothing but my own power and the techniques I learned along the way. One day during the finals of a tournament, I injured my leg, and a doc took a look at it and found my toe joint. It was then I learned my dad lied and I was quirkless. After that, my dad got arrested for altering medical records, and I called a liar, a cheat. They started saying I was using drugs and equipment to cheat, and when I continued winning, they started harassing me and my mother. Jack paused as he remembered his friends turning on him. In this world, if you win without a quirk, no one believes you, 'cause it's impossible to win without one.
Ha 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 ha. Jack turned to Akaza laughing. Ha 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 ha. So let me get this straight, you ran away from home, came all the way
to China to train in these mountains to prove yourself. All because your father lied to you your whole life about having a power that you didn't really have.
Jack nodded. You're such an idiot. You have nothing to prove.
If anything, those fools couldn't accept the power you have, the skill you've shown.
I understand that in this world where everyone has a power that you'll eventually come across a hurdle that you can't cross.
Maybe if you had a weapon or gadget you could, so I'll give you power.
Wait, you're going to turn me into a demon?
I don't think I can do that, but I can teach you my Soria techniques and how to surpass your limits. I've fought enough Demon Slayer to pick up some of their techniques and training methods.
I should be able to teach you a thing or two, what do you say?
Jack was shocked for a moment before smiling. Okay. After that, Akaza started to teach me his techniques that were lost to history.
That doesn't explain how you got demon powers, said Ye. I'm getting there, said Jack.
2 days later, right before Yashiro arrived, a nearby village was attacked by bandits. The monks were ordered to stay at the temple, but I didn't exactly listen.
Jack looked down from the mountain seeing the fire.
He ignored the warnings of the other monks and rushed down the mountain at top speed. He found the village being ransacked by criminals and jumped into action. By the time Akaza arrived, Jack had already taken care of most of them.
Nice job, kid.
Akaza, I thought the monks would stop you if you left the temple, said Jack as he kicked a bird-looking guy.
They tried, but I'm faster than them,
he said as he literally disarmed a guy who could grow more arms.
Though it looks like you didn't need my help at all.
You bastards, said a guy with an eagle head holding a spear.
Though since they were in China, the criminal was speaking Chinese, so Akaza couldn't understand what he was saying.
Oh, are you trying to pick a fight with me? Asked Akaza, getting into a fighting stance.
Go ahead, I could use the workout. Both Akaza and Jack turned to see a little girl looking for her mother.
In that moment, the criminal changed targets. A hostage, he said before activating his flash quirk. Because of the language barrier, Akaza didn't realize until it was too late that he was now aiming for the little girl, but Jack knew. Jack ran at full speed to protect the girl, which is exactly what the criminal wanted as he impaled Jack through the chest.
Ha ha ha, gotcha, you damn brat.
Jack! Jack reached and grabbed the spear.
No, I got you, as he punched the villain, breaking his beak and knocking the guy out cold. Stay down, you son of.
Akaza was able to catch Jack before he fell to the ground.
Shit, Jack, stay with me.
Jack!
Jack wasn't responding.
He's losing too much blood. He then turned to the villagers.
Hey, he needs a doctor here, someone get a damn doctor. They couldn't understand him because he only knew Japanese and didn't know how to tell them to get a doctor.
Shit, he then stared at his hand, which was now covered in Jack's blood.
Which gave him an idea.
He then took his clean and brought it to his mouth. If a little girl could pull this off, then you should be able to do it, no problem. Akaza bit his hand until it bled and then poured the blood into Jack.
And that's how you got demon powers, interrupted Ye.
Ye, let him finish, said Izuku.
Jack sighed.
Yes, Ye, that's how I got demon powers.
When I woke up, I was back at the temple completely healed and feeling better than ever.
I also could feel two people nearby.
Yashiro and Akaza, said Nizu, following where this was going.
Yep, Yashiro patched me up and balanced out the demon blood Akaza gave me, making sure I would never go full demon, but just in case he had a lab in China, whipped me up these limiter rings that keep my powers in check. as he showed the rings on his arms. Thought there was also another slight change that we noticed when I woke up.
Keo-chan noticed Jack first.
Ah, Jack, you're awake.
That's good. Akaza noticed Jack along with Yushiro. Jack bowed to Akaza and the Keo. Hey, what did I miss and who is this? He asked, looking at Yushiro.
I'm Yushiro, the last demon on Earth, said Yushiro Lucky, still the last demon on Earth. Keo-chan called me up to take a look at Akaza here, but when I got here I heard that this idiot filled your body with demon blood.
Hey, I was just trying to save the kid, I wasn't trying to make more demons, said Akaza.
Yushiro turned to the Keo.
How the hell does that happen? I thought the avatars you made weren't supposed to bleed.
They're not even supposed to talk, let alone think for themselves,
explained the Keo. Wait, I have demon blood in me, interrupted Jack.
Don't worry, said Yushiro.
I've given you a full checkup, you're completely fine.
The blood did heal you, and so far as I can tell there is just one side effect. Side effect? They then told him to look into the fountain. In the reflection of the water, Jack could see that his face was different.
Did something happen to my face?
Akaza's blood ever so slightly did change your body to resemble him a little. I doubt anyone would mistaking you for someone else, but now you do look a little different, explained Yushiro.
Sorry, Jack, said Akaza.
Oh no, this is okay, I didn't really care much about my appearance and this is much better than dying. He looked down at his reflection.
It's just a bit surprising, is all, huh?
He then noticed his hand was slowly turning black. When he hit the rim of the fountain it exploded, destroying the fountain. Both Yushiro and Akaza stayed at the temple, training me in my demon powers for another week until it was time for Akaza to go back to the other side.
Everyone could see Akaza was starting to glow green. Whoa, this feels weird. Akaza, what's going on? Why are you glowing? Akaza was silent for a moment. It's my time to go, isn't it? Keo-chan looked at the demon. Yes, that's the glow for when my power is beginning to fade.
Jack wanted to say no, he wanted his friend and mentor to stay, but he knew he wasn't meant to be here.
Can you bring him back at all?
The Keo shook his head.
Don't give me that kid, said Akaza. You don't need me at all. I've already taught you everything I know, and if we missed anything you got a temple and the last demon on Earth to fill in the blanks. You're going to do just fine.
He smiled as more of him began to fade.
Jack bowed with tears in his eyes.
Thank you for everything, I promise I'll use this power and become a hero.
Thank you, Akaza-sensei.
You too, kid, as he became see-through. I thought nothing good could come from my power, but you proved me wrong, so use that power well, but I don't want you flashing it around. Don't get me wrong, use it if you have to, but I don't want you to use this power like one of those quirks.
I want you to show them your power. The power that will make you the greatest hero that ever existed.
Yes, Sir, as he couldn't stop the tears.
Good luck, take care and don't make too many regrets, as he faded away.
In that short time span he truly did become the best mentor I ever had, and he gave me a power that will allow me to keep up with anyone.
I really owe him. Though it also gave you the ability to sense other demons, right?
Yes, said Jack. Ever since then I could always sense when Yushiro was nearby, and the same effect happened today when I ran into those three. They were without a doubt demons or had a lot of demon blood running through them. Then this means he's bringing them back, said the All Might.
All for one.
We're going to need to prepare, said Gran Torino as they started talking about what may come and how to explain it to the public.
Izuku then noticed Jack was in thought. Hey, is everything okay, Jack? Oh, sorry, I was kind of just thinking about Akaza. I wonder if he's doing all right on the other side.
Up on the top of Mnasaijiri, two ghostly figures stood on top looking over Yushrio's home.
Those two are doing just fine.
Yeah, but they have quite a few hurdles to go through.
Do you really think that they can't overcome the challenges ahead? Now they take on any challenge and win. I just hope they don't lose themselves.
Don't worry, they have friends that will keep them on track, said Tanjiro.
Come, it's time for us to return.
I still can't believe I will go where you go, said Akaza as he followed Tanjiro. You used your second time on this world to help others, Jack, the temple, and those villagers.
You've earned it, and Rengoku has been wanting a rematch.
Not even in the heavens is there a dull moment, said Akaza as they returned to the heavens to be alongside family and friends, knowing full well that they left the world in good hands.
Chapter 33 Sport Festival Start.
After the USJ and the run-in with Rui, the students of UA have been working hard to make sure they would be prepared for next time.
Though none of them could deny that they were excited because the sports festival was just days away.
Alright class, I hope you're all ready, said Aizawa. The sports festival is coming and I want to see your best out there. Good luck.
Class dismissed.
With that, several of the students got up to leave.
I'm so pumped, said Ye.
We finally get to let loose and show the whole world what we're made of.
How about you guys, you pumped at all?
I'm excited, said Melissa. I've never really been a part of a sports festival before and I get to see my dad when he comes to visit, so I'm looking forward to it.
My parents are coming too. Izuku looked around and saw several people getting excited. Wow, everyone is getting really excited.
Well, what did you expect, said Ojiro.
The sports festival is a big event. Ida nodded. Indeed. It's broadcast all over the world. It's only natural to get excited.
Izuku, everyone, said a low voice, getting their attention. They all looked to see Ochako with a dark, serious look on her face.
Let's crush it.
Ochako, said Izuku as he saw her face. I'm going to do my best, she said as she raised her fist. Soon the other students did as well.
What's up with Ochako? Asked Mina. Mineta had an idea.
Maybe she's on her parry-slap. Suyu was having none of it and slapped him with her tongue. Whatever, growled Katsuki as he went to leave only to find the doorway blocked.
What the hell is this?
Everyone looked to see that the hallway was blocked by several students.
Whoa, who are these guys? Asked Kirishima. Izuku looked and recognized Yuki in the crowd.
Those are students from the other classes.
What are they doing here?
Katsuki was getting annoyed. Oh, get out of the way, you damn extras. Wow, I came all the way here to see the famous Class A and I have to say I didn't think you were so arrogant, said a tall purple-haired boy as he moved to the front of the crowd. I hope not all of the kids enrolled in the hero department are as shitty as you.
Bakugo narrowed his eyes at the purple-haired boy. Excuse me, who the hell are you?
The boy smiled. Did you know several students who couldn't make the cut to the heroics ended up in the general education course, and based off of the results of the sports festival people can transfer to the heroics course, and the reverse is also possible. Several students got a bit worried at the idea that they could get kicked out of the hero course. Some didn't believe it, while some of the heavy hitters of Class 1A were now eyeing Shinso.
Even Melissa could tell something was weird.
Yay, this boy.
Ye didn't even need to hear it. Oh yeah, he's been training, a lot.
Izuku then looked past Shinso to the crowd. He's not the only one. The students of the general studies course, most of them look like they just walked out of boot camp. Even Yuki looks like she's been working more. No, the biggest difference not only for her but for most of them. Their eyes, thought Bakugo as he looked at the eyes of the mob he was facing. There's a whole hell of a lot of fire and determination behind those eyes. They truly mean to take our positions in the hero course.
A massive grin split Bakugo's face. Well, ain't that interesting, you trying to take our place in the hero course, huh? Now I'm getting excited. You better show us something good, ya damn extras.
Hitoshi Shinso, said the boy, finally introducing himself.
Remember it when I take your spot. Okay, stop scaring us, said Mineta, not believing what Shinso was saying.
There's no way the teachers would kick us out of the hero course.
Yes, they would, said Izuku with a nervous look on his face. Mineta looked at Izuku with fear of what he was about to say. What do you mean? I think I know what's going on here.
Before he could explain, several students in the crowd began to move as Yushiro and Tomo walked through.
Hello students, what's going on here? Asked Yushiro, hoping no one started a fight. Mr. Yushiro, yelled Mineta. Could you please tell these guys that they can't take our stops in the hero course?
Yushiro raised his eyebrow.
Why would I do that?
Because they can't just take our spots, we're in the hero because there's no room.
Actually, both classes have 2 open seats, clarified Tomo.
Yeah, but they can't take our seats. Yes, they can, said Yushiro. Soon several students from the Class 1A and those listening in from Class 1B were now slowly shaking in fear.
There are several ways they can move to the hero course and take one of the positions. Mineta was now slowly turning into a melted mess.
Hey, relax, dude. It's not like they have the training we do, said Siro, trying to cheer Mineta up. Yes, they do, said Izuku, dashing their hopes as he looked at Yushiro.
You trained them, didn't you, sensei?
Of course I did. Most of Class A froze as they heard those words. Mina pushed herself to the front.
What? Why would you do that?
You're our teacher, not theirs. Yushiro was a bit bewildered by this. I'm a teacher of UA, they are students of UA. So it's my job to reach out and offer a helping hand, to teach them so that they can reach their goals.
Yeah, but what if their goal is to take our place in Class 1A, yelled Mineta.
Yushiro was silent for a moment as he connected the dots. Oh, you mean the sports festival? Well, of course I would prepare them for that. You should have been preparing as well, if not you could be kicked out of the course.
Yushiro, everyone turned to see Aizawa cutting through the crowd. What are you doing?
Just explaining how some of the students might be kicked out of the class if they screw up in the sports festival, said Yushiro like it was something obvious.
Aizawa groaned for a moment. You're not supposed to do that.
What do you mean? UA has done this before. You yourself have replaced several students in your class. You even expelled your entire class once.
Yes, but you're not supposed to say anything, or else you're going to cause the students to panic, said Aizawa, which then caused the students to panic. Ida raised his hand.
Wait, sir.
Are you saying this is true?
Aizawa sighed as he rubbed the bridge of his nose. Yes, and as Yushiro said, we have been doing this for quite some time, but we usually try to do this quietly so no one freaks out.
Oh please, said Yushiro.
You don't give these students enough credit. I'm sure some of them have done their research and figured this out a while ago.
Tomo tapped Yushiro's shoulder.
Sir, she then pointed at Class 1A where some looked like they were on the verge of tears and some, like Mineta, were actually crying.
I don't think they knew about this. Oh, I see.
Isha, none of that matters, said Bakugo, walking through the crowd to leave, before stopping and turning around to look at Shinso. I accept your declaration of war and I will win, so be prepared to get crushed by me.
Bakugo then walked off and soon the crowd dispersed. Oh. Well, that was interesting, said Tomo as she opened a portal to the outside of Inko's apartment.
Followed by Izuku, Melissa, Yae, Ochako, All Might and Yushiro. Says you, I'm pumped, said Yae as the door to the apartment opened. Yae ducked as a flying Eri jumped over her.
Tomo as she landed in Tomo's arms. Hello Eri, good to see you again, said Tomo, giving the girl a hug. Sorry, we haven't been visiting as much lately, we've been busy.
Eri shook her head.
Don't worry, I understand.
as she gave them a sweet smile that melted everyone's hearts.
So cute, they all thought.
That's when Inko popped her head out of the door and invited everyone in. Soon everyone was sitting in the living room, and then she soon brought a tray of drinks for everyone.
So the sports festival is coming up, are you all excited?
Oh yeah, said Ye, pumping her fist.
This is going to be awesome.
Ochako got her serious face on.
I'm going to do my best.
Same here, said Melissa.
Izuku nodded.
This year looks like it's going to be big, so I'm going to try my best. Yes, I expect great things from you, all of you, said Yushiro, but that does remind me, have you filled out the paperwork, so you can use your sword in the tournament? Izuku's face shifted to one of shame as he remembered how he had lost his sword during the USJ.
Izuku, you're still not hung up about the sword, are you?
It's okay, we have several blades that you can use.
Izuku shook his head.
No, that's not it. Well, not entirely. I've decided that I'm not going to use a sword during the sports festival. This surprised everyone as they had expected him to enter with a sword, as that was the weapon he was the most skilled with. They all then turned to Yashiro, expecting him to say something against the idea, but he didn't mind at all.
Very well then, I look forward to seeing what you can do.
Melissa was now surprised by this. Are you sure about this? I checked, and if you bring a dulled or training sword in, it is allowed. No, said Izuku, now resolved in his decision. I want to see how far I can go with my own abilities, my own strength without my sword.
Alright, then, I won't bring anything in either, said Ye.
I'll go in with my two fists and show everyone who's boss.
Melissa looked at Ye. Did you even know you had to fill out paperwork to bring your gun in?
Nope, I was just going to bring my stuff in anyway.
Ochako couldn't help but smile. That sounds about right.
Yashiro started to rub his temples.
Come now, Ye, really?
Ha! What did I do? As Ye was now confused with the looks everyone was giving her.
Excellent, said All Might.
I can't wait to see you all go plus ultra. Soon all of the student in all courses began to train hard as the sports festival approached.
Though they weren't the only ones moving.
Oh. Shigaraki and Overhaul were walking through a warehouse in a hidden location. While they found a lot of demon DNA quicker than I expected, said Overhaul as he looked at a list.
Are any of these demons good?
I don't think so, said Shigaraki honestly. Most of them came from a mountain that the old demon slayers used for training, so most of them are probably low-leveled, but the spider family did find one big fish that I think might be interesting. Though with the help of those genetically altered spiders, it's only a matter of time before we grab more moons. My question is, what do you plan to do with the big one, the one that used to lead them? Asked Overhaul. Don't worry, Sensei already has a plan for that one. As one of Kurogiri's portals opened. Now come, let's see what our enemies can do, as they step through the portal. I'm curious to see what the FUCK. The both stopped as they saw a massive flat-screen TV sitting on one of the tables in the corner of the bar.
Where did this thing come from?
We stole it, said Twice, sitting on one of the stools.
Now we have to bring it back.
Come on, you didn't really expect all of us to huddle behind the dinky TV to watch the sports festival, did you? Said Komori as she was sitting in one of the booths with Rue and Karan playing cards. I'm surprised you guys haven't stolen a bigger TV by now, said Rue as he drew a card. Damn, as he saw his card.
Shouldn't you have a better poker face, said Karan.
Yeah, didn't that body belong to a child actor or something, said Komori as she drew her card. Yeah, before half of a studio fell on him, said Rue. Though his quirk that allowed him to have better control of his body might come in handy.
Actually, I have a question, asked Karan, raising his voice to get Shigaraki's attention. How did that happen? You gave us details on me and Kumori's bodies became available. You mean hijacked, said Kumori bluntly. Yeah, the body I'm in. The guy was in a lot of debt for his gambling he did and paid the price for it, but how did you get Roy's body?
Surely they should have noticed the body of a famous child actor go missing. It was a lot easier than you would think. The whole situation was a huge clusterfuck. The director was blackmailing the staff to sleep with him and the pyrotechnic tried to kill him, and the studio was trying to keep everything quiet, so in reality it was stupidly easy to steal his body. Said Shigarkai as he remembered thinking he could have just walked in and grabbed the body while everyone outside was arguing. I'm pretty sure they were still screaming when I left. I see, thank you for satisfying my curiosity. Also 4 aces, he said, showing the cards. What, how'd you get all the aces? Asked Komori, leaning over the table grabbing his shirt. Did you cheat? Are you hiding cards somewhere? No, I just got lucky, he said, totally calm. She gave him a doubtful look. Okay, where are you hiding the cards? Don't make me strip you. Karan's 4 eyes went wide. What? I'm out, said Rue, dropping his cards and jumping out of the booth. Get a room, you two, said Twice. No, do it right now. Don't you dare, I just cleaned the place up, said Kurogiri. You call this clean, said Overhaul as he looked around the old dirty bar. The door then opened, revealing Chrono, Mimic and Rappa. We got snacks, yelled Rappa as he grabbed a seat in front of the TV next to Rue. Come on, Red, you better not disappoint me. The others soon surrounded the TV except Overhaul and Shigaraki. Overhaul then heard a loud groan from Shigaraki. What's wrong with you? This place is getting too crowded, he said as he made a mental note on finding a bigger hideout. Oh. I can't believe you went to get snacks now, said Aizawa as he and Present Mike navigated through the crowd of the UA Sports Festival. We need to get to the announcement box in 20 minutes. Oh, relax, we got time, said Mike as he ate his takoyaki. As they were walking, a woman with black hair that reached just to her shoulders, with big round glasses, wearing a black sweater and jeans, with an over-the-shoulder bag. She looked lost. Hey miss, you looking for something? The woman looked up. Oh yes, Mr. Phones, I'm looking for my husband. We were looking for my daughter, but I think we got separated in the crowd. Have you tried calling him on your phone? Asked Aizawa. Oh, good idea, Sleepy Man, she said as she grabbed her phone out of her bag. Sleepy Man, he said as he looked at Present Mike for a moment. You must be Ye's mom. The woman smiled. Oh, you know my little angel, huh? She hasn't killed anyone yet, has she? Both men slowly turned to each other before looking back at the woman. I got questions. Risa, said a man with brown short hair and a suit as he walked up. I just got a hold of Ye. Apparently they're already in the locker room about to start. He then noticed the 2 teachers. Oh, who are these 2? This is Sleepy Man and Mr. Phones. They somehow know our little monster, said the woman named Risa, with a smile as if she didn't just call her daughter a monster. Wait, you 2 know Ye, said Matozo. We're her teachers, said Mike. Oh, I see, he said before bowing. Thank you for taking care of her. I know she can be a bit of a handful, but she's a good girl at heart. She just breaks a lot of things, said Risa, Ye's mother, while smiling. This caused Matozo to chuckle a little. Anyway, I would love to stick around and chat, but we should go and find our seats. Wait, said Risa before turning to the 2 teachers. Her eyes darkened as she gave them a serious look. You 2 are her teachers, correct? Then do you by chance also teach Izuku Midoriya? Aizawa was a bit surprised by the mood change. Yes, he's also one of my students. How would you describe someone like him? Would you say he's a good kid? Yes, admittedly he's one of the best behaved kids in my class, he said honestly. Risa seemed satisfied with the answer as she began to smile once more.
That's good. Well, then we will see you later then.
Soon the Ryoshis left the two heroes.
You know, Ye's starting to make a lot of sense now, said Mike.
Seriously?
No. Come on, we're going to be late now, as they went to the commentator box.
Oh. All of Class 1A were currently waiting in the locker room making any and all final preparations needed for the sports festival. Some were a little nervous while others were getting excited.
Man, I wanted to bring my costume, complained Mina.
They have to keep it fair for all of us, said Ojiro. I mean, it wouldn't be fair if Izuku came in with his sword while the rest of them would be weaponless. I guess, said Mina as she looked at Izuku, who was simply sitting down meditating, though Mina had a question.
Hey Midoriya, Izuku opened his eyes and looked at her.
Sorry to break your concentration and all, but I got a question, one I've had for quite a while. Why do you always wear those earrings? I thought they were just to complete the look of your hero costume, but I realize you wear them all the time.
Izuku touched his Hanafuda earrings.
Oh well, they were a gift from someone who helped me.
He gave you earrings, that's an unusual gift. Izuku took the earrings off as he placed them in his hands.
Well, I don't know if he expected me to wear them. He wanted me to use them as proof that I met him, so I could get some more training from people he knew. But when I learned I wouldn't be able to give them back, I decided to wear them to honor him.
Why can't you give them back? Asked Denki. Izuku put the earrings back on.
I can't, he's not of this world anymore.
Izuku's tone confirmed what he was trying to say, and many of the students understood it. Mineta tilted his head.
Wait, so you mean he's like an alien or something?
Not all of them understood. Todoroki, on the other hand, had something else on his mind as he walked towards Melissa. Melissa, could I speak with you for a moment?
Sure.
She got up and followed him to the other end of the room.
Some of the other students saw this.
Oh, do you think this is a love confession? Asked Toru.
Maybe, said Mina.
No, said Ye, getting up.
This is something else.
Melissa was now very confused as Todoroki was giving her a serious look.
So, what is it you wanted to tell me?
You're All Might's niece.
Yes.
And I'm the son of Endeavor, the number 2 hero.
Okay, where are you going with this?
I'm going to beat you.
HOI, they looked to see Ye staring down Todoroki. Hey half-ass, shut the hell up.
This is none of your bus dash.
Shoto, said Izuku as he too stood up. Your business doesn't belong here. Endeavor nor All Might are here taking this competition, we are. Don't forget you're not the only strong student here, we have several talented students here, so instead of declaring war on one student you should try to do your best, because while you might be just staring down Melissa, the rest of us are looking for the gold.
Shoto was quiet for a moment before walking past Izuku. Fine, then I will beat you and Melissa.
I have no idea what that was about, said Melissa.
Thanks, by the way.
Don't mention it.
Izuku then looked at the clock.
Hey Prez, I think it's almost time.
You're right, said Momo, standing up.
Alright everyone, it's time we head out. Let's give it our all.
Yeah.
Oh. Alright everyone entering the stadium right now. Is our very own Class 1A. As the stadium erupted in cheer as Class 1A entered the stadium, getting everyone's attention.
Why is everyone freaking out about them? We fought villains too, complained Monoma.
Give it a rest, Monoma, said Jack as he looked at Class 1A, specifically Izuku. Today we learn if I can beat your powers. Look at them getting so full of themselves, said Chikuchi from the General Studies. Don't worry, we'll take them down a few pegs, said a blonde girl. We shouldn't get too cocky though, said Yuki. Some of them are quite strong, as she had Izuku and Bakugo. Shinso followed her eyesight.
You went to school with them, right?
Yuki stayed silent.
Don't worry, this is just a sports festival, nothing too crazy will happen. Just leave me Bakugo. All of General Study looked at Yuki. I just want Bakugo. Shinso smiled.
Okay, but no hard feelings if anyone takes him down first.
Yuki smiled.
Just wipe that damn smirk off his face.
Above in the stands several people were watching as well. Hey look, it's Yae, said Matazo, happy to see his daughter again. She looks like she's doing good.
Yes, said Risa as she smiled at her daughter before looking over the other students, before her eyes landed on Izuku.
So that's the boy, Izuku Midoriya. You got his name right?
The Ryoshis turned to see Yoshiro and a very wide-eyed Tomo looking at them.
Mr. Yoshiro, she got Izuku's name right. Indeed, that is a bit of a first. You usually don't remember other people, Risa. What's different with Izuku? Asked Yoshiro, curious himself. Are you finally warming up to others? Risa looked down at Izuku and at Yae.
I don't care for other people. I still believe a majority of humanity are a waste of space and are stealing the oxygen of those more important, but my daughter is interested in the boy and that's enough for me to remember him. Yet you won't remember the name of the man who gave your husband a job, said Tomo, giving the woman a skeptic look.
You have been screwing with us. Risa just gave Tomo a smile, before turning to Yoshiro. How have you been, Mr. Vampire? His name is Yoshiro. I hope my daughter wasn't too much trouble for you.
Have you been drinking any good blood lately? Some might have expected Yoshiro to be annoyed by this, but he was far too used to this. I'm doing just fine, and if by blood you mean tea, then yes. Also, I think you two will be happy to hear she's made some positive changes and her abilities have grown quite well.
That piqued Matazo's interest. Really, I can't wait to see my little girl in action.
Come, I have seats for us, along with some of the other parents, said Yoshiro as he led them to their seats. Down below, things were just getting started as Midnight stepped onto the stage.
Greetings everyone and welcome to this year's UA Sports Festival.
Before we get started, we are going to get a word from this year's representative, Japan's former #1 vigilante, Izuku Midoriya. Soon the crowd cheered for Izuku as they began to chant Demon Slayer. Izuku was a bit surprised by the response but shook it off as he walked to the stage. Hey, why does Deku get to be the representative? Asked Bakugo. He's the one that got the highest score during the entrance exam, exclaimed Momo, causing Bakugo to growl, which made Yae make fun of him. Don't fight now please, save it for the final round.
Izuku walked up to the mic and cleared his throat.
Hello everyone, I'm going to try and make this brief. All of here are trying to be heroes, all of us are giving our all here, we all are dreaming to be heroes. It won't be easy, but I hope we can all show you the heroes that will be there for you in the future and show you what we're made of. So I want all my peers to show everyone what we can do, so please give it your all and go plus ultra. The crowd cheered in excitement as Izuku stepped back and leaned a little towards Midnight.
How'd I do? Midnight thought for a moment. Needs work, but I think you're on the right path.
Don't a few sessions of my PR class will rough out the edges.
With that, Izuku went and rejoined his class, earning praise from his peers, a fist bump from Kirishima. Alright, now, let's find out what the first event of this year's UA Sports Festival will be.
On the stadium's Jumbotron, a cycle of several events appeared as it spun around until it stopped.
Obstacle course will be the first event. Can we please have all students go to the west entrance of the stadium?
The west entrance lit up as several students as a group walked towards it.
This event is exactly how it sounds.
The students will race around the stadium as fast as they can, all while avoid all the obstacles blocking their path. The only rules are that they can't step off the path and that they can't interfere with any of the other competitors. Other than that, anything goes. Now then. On the Jumbotron, a countdown began and soon the crowd began to count the timer as it went down. 3, 2, 1, go.
Chapter 34 Obstacle Course. Izuku pushed all the power he had into his legs as he jumped through the tunnel along with several of his other classmates, as they all dodged a massive glacier that formed inside the tunnel blocking it. Todoroki. Yae landed near Izuku. Looks like he's fired up. Isn't that overboard? Yelled Melissa as she saw the tunnel as Todoroki ran off. The tunnel is completely blocked and I'm sure some of the others were partly frozen back there. Isn't that against the rules? Shut up and worry about yourself, yelled Bakugo as he ignored it and rocketed forward. He's right, said Jack as he and several students of Class B began to run. You shouldn't underestimate them, several students of Class A and B are back there. So it won't hold long. As if on K, the ice breaks as two figures shoot through. The giant beast of Class B Jirota and Class A Sato smash through the ice, clearing the way for all the other students to start running. Move, Melissa, yelled Yae, getting the blonde girl's attention. Melissa looked forward and saw that several of her classmates were way ahead. This isn't a marathon. Several giant robots appeared similar to the ones at the entrance exam, though they did little as Bakugo blasted one out of his path along with Jack and Kendo destroying one themselves. Izuku and Todoroki choose to run under them, then directly fight as one robot looks down at Yae and Melissa. With so many powerhouses here, Yae used strange metal on her feet, jumping high enough to land on the giant robot. This is a sprint. As Yae jumped off of the robot, leaving several of her metal knives to explode, destroying the robot. Melissa saw what Yae meant. Everyone is really pushing themselves, well, so am I, she thought as she ran and jumped, punching a robot to the ground. I want to win too. Though she didn't pay attention to some of the others on the ground. Several students felt the same way, but many got discouraged as they saw the amount of headway the front runners were making. Shinso saw that some of his classmates were getting frustrated. Relax guys, we'll be right on them soon enough. He then turned to a girl with blonde hair. 10, were you able to give it to her? 10 smiled. Oh yeah, she has the rock. She then saw someone in the corner of her eye. 1 second. Before she disappeared and reappeared next to Mineta, kicking him as hard as she could. That's for the entrance exam, asshole. Before reappearing back to Shinso. Just say the word boss. Can you please stop calling me boss, said Shinso exhaustedly. You guys make it sound like I'm the leader of some sort of gang. This caused the general studies students to laugh. Too late, said a kid with dark hair and glasses. Daisan's right, said a beefy-looking guy with platinum blonde hair. If you didn't make that speech after the extra training session, I doubt we all would have stuck with it. Thanks Kayaki, Shinso smiled. Alright everyone, when we make the opening, move. The rest of Class C nodded. With these guys too occupied with their infighting, we will take the win from them. Izuku had already made it to the next obstacle, the high ropes, which might have been a joke to him as he quickly ran across the ropes to the other side. Soon Bakugo landed next to him along with a large ice bridge forming next to them. They looked and saw Todoroki hot on their heels, along with someone unexpectedly using Todoroki's ice as an ice rink. Yuki. At the mention of her name, Bakugo looked back and saw their old middle school classmate skating along Todoroki's ice. Snow bitch? How? Yuki was skating right behind Todoroki. Thank you so much for this, Yushiro-sensei, she thought. So your quirk allows you to make snowballs, said Yushiro, meeting with Yuki during after-school practice. Is there anything else you can do with them? Yuki thought for a moment. Well, I can make them bigger, and I've found out I can even change their size even if they're far away. She then demonstrated by floating a snowball a little bit away before making it big then small. Yoshiro and Tomo saw this and were impressed. You can control them and make them float around? Yuki nodded. Can you turn them into ice? Asked Tomo.
Yuki made another snowball before closing her eyes and focused. Soon the snowball shrunk slightly as it turned to ice. I know my quirk isn't much, but I've tried my best to make it into something. Yashiro smiled. My dear, you are already on your way to becoming a fantastic hero. Though I'm sure we can come up with a few new ideas you can use. Yuki smiled. I will not be left in the dust by you, she said to herself as she glared at Bakugo. Todoroki cursed as he looked back, seeing Yuki. Damn. I didn't think there was anyone who could use my ice to this much of an advantage. Todoroki saw he was almost to the other side of the bridge. If she can use this, then so can other people, but I can't stop now or else Midoriya and Bakugo will take more of a lead. Todoroki jumped to the ground and slammed his foot on the ground, sending a wave of ice backwards, launching him forward and stopping Yuki. Sorry, he said without looking back. Yuki used the ice wave to jump high into the air. She then saw Todoroki chasing after Izuku and Bakugo, who were almost at the third obstacle. She pulled a small rock out of her pocket and put inside a snowball before throwing it with as much power as she could muster. Sorry about this, but we want to win. Thanks to her quirk, the ball went far enough to be ahead of the front trio. The three looked up as they saw the snowball burst open, revealing a rock. Ten saw the rock in the distance. Target locked. She reached out her hand, grabbing Shinso's. The two then disappeared, to the surprise of several other students, reappearing in mid-air in front of Izuku, Bakugo, and Todoroki. Tenmetsu, quirk, target blink. She can teleport to any marked target as long as it's in sight. If she has yet to mark the target, she will snap back to where she started. Alright boss, you're up. I'd wish you guys would stop calling me that, said Shinso before taking a deep breath. As he did, Yuki, who was behind the trio, slammed her hands over her ears. Behind her, several students saw this action. Ears, said Kendo and Melissa, realizing what was going on, slamming their hands over their ears along with a few other students. But the three up front didn't see it as they stared at Shinso, who was about to yell, "Go Class C!" As Shinso's words echoed, Izuku wondered what he was doing. Why did he dash? Izuku was brought out of his thoughts as he felt his brain shut down for a moment. Izuku then nose-dived to the ground as his body came to a complete halt, as the same happened for both Bakugo and Todoroki. Melissa saw this and turned to see several other students fall as well, including Yae. What did he do? Everyone came to a halt. Did he make them go unconscious? She then noticed something fly above her head. She looked up and saw a girl with deer antlers jumping over her and noticed something was weird about her. She's glowing? Melissa then looked back and noticed several students were glowing as well, and they were notably faster now. What is going on? Shinso smiled through the rush of pain. To be honest, I don't know, said Shinso to Yashiro during training. Yashiro was slightly surprised. You don't know the limits of your quirk? Shinso nodded sadly. With having a quirk like brainwashing, you don't get a lot of volunteers to test your quirk out. To be honest, I don't truly know all the rules to my powers myself. Yashiro smiled. Well then, let's fix that, shall we? Thanks to Yashiro, I know my limits now, as Shinso tasted blood. I think I pushed them a bit too much. What is going on? Yelled Present Mike as he and the audience watched the events unfold. One student cheered for his classmates, and then suddenly several students collapsed. What is going on, and is this against the rules? While this was happening, Risa noticed someone was smiling. You seem happy, bloodsucker. Are you happy screwing over your students? Risa, can you please use Yashiro's name? You're making people confused and angry, as he saw Tomo glaring at Risa. My students are more clever than I give them credit for, said Yashiro, still smiling. In the first few minutes they came up with a plan and Shinso was able to execute it on such a massive scale. Though I'm slightly worried he might have bit off more than he could chew.
"Come on, get up," yelled Eri standing in her chair, cheering for Izuku.
"Goo." "Yeah," said Mitsuki who was sitting next to Inko, "my boy might break him." "Don't worry, I'm sure Izuku would stop him," said Inko, trying to calm Eri down a bit.
Matazo raised an eyebrow as he saw the explosion on the screen. Is he usually this hot-headed?
"Unfortunately, as Yushiro saw some people walking in the corner of his, I was wondering if you were going to come." Stopping close to the railing was an adult woman with pure white hair looking at the screen as she saw her son stand up again.
"Shoto," said Rei as Fuyumi and Natsu were beside her.
"Oh. Alright boss, yeah did it," said Ten grabbing Shinso as he suddenly jerked. "Now Class C can pull ahead, boss." "Can you please stop calling me that," said Shinso as he tried to cover his eye that was now bloodshot and bleeding.
"I haven't really used my quirk to this extent before. I can't see that well, but we got to keep moving. That trick isn't going to keep them down for long." Looking back they could see several students getting back up along with Bakugo who looked pissed.
Ten nodded and pushed Shinso. "Don't worry, we're in the home stretch and our class is on their way. We'll put all of Class C in first and show Dash she didn't finish as she stepped on something."
Boom. Looks like they ran into the third big obstacle, the landmines, yelled President Mike over the speakers. "How will they get through this?"
"I hate to say it, Mike, but I doubt they will have much issue with this," said Aizawa as he saw his students charge.
"Shit," yelled Ten as she and Shinso picked themselves up.
"Come on, we need to move," said Shinso, whipping blood from his lip.
"We're still in this."
As they ran fast but carefully through the minefield,
Izuku looked down at the mines.
Breath of lightning, as he dashed through the field with his senses he was able to avoid the mines.
"Don't get ahead of yourself, Deku," yelled Bakugo as he used his explosions to fly over the field.
Shoto grunted before freezing the ground over the mines, creating a path to run on which several students used, including Melissa, Yae and Kendo. Jack quickly dashed through the field while Yuki just copied Shoto and put enough snow between her and the mines. Soon the head of the pack made it past the mines, making a beeline towards the tunnel, to the finish line. They were all neck and neck as the group ran through the tunnel. Yae used the metal on her feet to blast her forward, Izuku took another breath and sped up, Jack put some ash on his legs to give him a bit of a boost. Melissa was seeing all of this and dug deep.
"I'm so close I can win."
Melissa put her heart into high gear as she pushed herself near the front of the pack. "Oh no you don't," yelled Bakugo as he powered a massive explosion to launch him forward, but just as he was about to fire it something dashed under him throwing him off balance, causing a massive explosion sending everyone flying out of the tunnel into the arena.
"Whoa, what an ending," yelled President Mike. "Who won?" "I can't tell. We're going to have to check out the instant replay."
"What are you talking about?" said Aizawa. "We know who came in first, were you not paying attention?" This got everyone's attention as several people had no idea who won, even those who were in the arena right now.
The winner was Hibiki from Class 1B.
"Hoo!" yelled everyone as they all turned to see a grinning Hibiki wearing an oversized UA sport jacket, standing next to Yui and Shirhai.
"Oh."
Watching on the television, Hibiki's family watched her race through the course. The elder shook his head.
"Oh Hibiki, why?" This confused some of the clansmen. "Isn't this a good thing?" asked Jam.
"While I don't mind her standing out, being in first may cause a few issues in the future," said the elder.
"Don't worry," said Hum.
"She can handle this on her own, Hibiki can handle herself."
I hope you're right." "What?"
"How?" asked President Mike. Soon they had the instant replay on the Jumbotron.
It showed the entrance to the arena as Bakugo's explosion went off in the mouth, sending everyone flying.
The screen froze at the exact moment the first person flew through the entrance, Hibiki followed by Yui and Shirhai, but there was something strange about the two girls.
They're tiny.
As President Mike said, the two girls in the video were the size of dolls.
What the heck is going on? I have an idea, said Aizawa as he pressed some buttons on the computer. I'm not exactly sure the limits of the students, but I think this was them.
Soon the massive screen showed several screenshots of the race showing that something was racing along the ground below everyone.
Is that a tarp?
No, said Aizawa as he split the screen showing a side-by-side of Hibiki's jacket and the thing that was in the race.
That was Hibiki's jacket. President Mike and most of the audience were now even more confused. If my guess is correct, Yui grew Hibiki's jacket and then shrunk herself and Hibiki down to size, then Shirhai used the jacket's shadow to zip across the course.
Several light bulbs in the audience began to turn on as they began to put the pieces together.
Is my guess correct, Hibiki? Hibiki smiled as Yui shrunk her jacket back down to size.
Yep, while shrunken down, I used my quirk to keep the jacket ahead of us and to give Shirhai enough room to keep moving forward. She then demonstrated by putting vibrations through the jacket, causing it to float. With me steering, Yui keeping us together and Shirhai focusing on speed, we were able to win right under all of their noses. Yui watched Hibiki smile and explain what they had done. She remembered Hibiki approaching her and Shirhai right as the obstacle course was announced. I still don't trust her, she came up with that plan too quickly as if she knew exactly what the first challenge would be. Not to mention her control and precision, she had to dodge everyone is not normal, she's up to something, but what is it?
Well then, yelled Midnight, getting everyone's attention.
We have ourselves our first place winner of the obstacle course, Hibiki Yuzui. The crowd cheered for Hibiki as the race finished with her the winner and Yui for second and Shirhai for third, with everyone else going down the list. Shinso was a little annoyed that their strategy didn't get any of his class into the top 10, but he did get a good chunk of his class.
Shinso then got elbowed by 10.
Hey, cheer up, boss man, we're still in the competition and quite a few of us got into the top 50. So chin up, we'll get back at them and show them our stuff.
Shinso sighed, yeah, you're right, but can you please stop calling me boss?
Now before we continue, said Midnight, there are a few things we must discuss. Unfortunately, some of the students didn't adhere to the rules we laid out before the start of the race. Soon all the students' eyes were on Shinso, though he wasn't worried. He expected this and was about to respond when suddenly Bakugo let out an explosion right in front of Shinso.
Bakugo, what are you doing? Bakugo grinned as the smoke cleared, with Shinso being completely fine.
Sorry for the delay, I just thought it was rude that I didn't say hello back.
His eyes never left Shinso, who couldn't help but grin back. Midnight was slightly confused for a moment.
While I love such fiery spirits, I'm going to need you to calm down for a moment.
Midnight then felt someone poke her shoulder. Tomo? I think you should look around for a moment.
As Midnight did, she could see a lot of the other students had fire in their eyes. They wanted to go against Shinso. Midnight could feel the room and could tell there might be a problem with kicking out Shinso.
Daisan stepped forward.
I would also like to point out, Todoroki's ice also partly froze some of the students and didn't get in the way of them getting out of the tunnel, not to mention all of those students who destroyed the robots that literally landed on the others. Midnight realized the student was right. Tomo decided to relay the information to Nizu and Yashiro, causing them both to laugh.
They really did think this through, didn't they? Said Nizu.
Indeed, I hope this isn't a difficult decision for you, said Yashiro.
Heavens no, said Nizu as he went on the combs.
We'll forget what the students have done this time, but for the next challenges we must be absolutely clear about the rules. Understood?
A series of yes came through the comms. Also, I think quite a few of the audience wants to see more from these underdogs. Nizu was correct, several heroes were very surprised to see the performance of general studies students and wanted to see more. Did you see the girl with the squirrel tail? She did awesome. Or how about the deer girl? She jumped over that chasm in 2 jumps. I'm more intrigued about that black-haired boy. He knew exactly where to be. How are these kids not in the hero course? Yeah, you think UA made a mistake or something?
I don't know, maybe. I've never seen so many good students from general studies before.
Yelled Monoma. Class B is the one in first place, not Class C. Can't you see Class B is better? All the students gave Monoma a look and a wide berth. Is he okay? Asked Yuki.
No, said Yui. He's got a real screw loose, said Yae, earning her own looks from some of the other students.
Hibiki marched up to Monoma. Class B didn't win anything, you moron. This victory you're talking about belongs to me, Yui and Shirhai. Not you. Monoma eyed Hibiki. I'm just saying this proves Class B has much better.
Monoma stopped as he saw Jack walking up to him, but before he could do anything, Kendo came up from behind and karate chopped Monoma in the neck, knocking him out. Jack then grabbed his unconscious body and dragged him away.
Ten watched the whole thing. So those two, do they do that often? Oh yeah, but only to Monoma, said Hibiki.
They're like the older siblings of Class B. Midnight cracked her whip.
Okay, let's move on to the next challenge.
The Jumbotron began to spin until it stopped.
Cavalry battle.
The screen then showed All Might being carried by the other teachers. Here you form teams consisting of a horse and a rider.
The rider will have a headband that must stay above their neck.
The amount of points will be the combined amount of each person's points, and points will be determined by the rank you came in during the race.
Last place will be worth 5 points, second last will be 10 points, etc., etc.
As the screen began assigning people their ranks until it stopped at Hibiki,
with first place being worth 1 million points. What?
Hibiki's face twisted in shock as she looked at the screen before panic set in, as every single student now had their eyes set on her.
This can't be happening. Hibiki looked around for a team.
Yui, Shirhai. Good luck, Hibiki, said Yui, stepping away with Shirhai hiding in her shadow.
Are you serious?
Hibiki then began to panic as her classmates began to break off and form their own groups.
Are you kidding me? What do I do? What do I do? She repeated.
This wasn't supposed to happen. This was supposed to be the one time I would be able to show these imbeciles what I can do. I was supposed to make a clean sweep of this competition. Not to be made a fool of. Fine, then I'll just use my pets to make things go into my favor. Hibiki was coming up with a few ideas when someone tapped her shoulder.
Jack? He smiled, then turned. Yo Tesatisu, Ibara. The two came over. You two want to win, pair up with me and Hibiki. Ha? Tesatisa steeled up and bashed his fists. Okay. Ibara put her hands together. You have some sort of plan then?
Yep, said Jack as he filled them in on his plan. While this was happening, others were also forming groups. Kendo, as Ochako came over to her friend.
Do you want to pair up with me? Sure, do you have anyone else with you? Asked Kendo.
Well, let's see. She saw that Melissa and Ye were together while Monoma was trying to make a team. She saw that the Class C students form a team, then she saw the guy she was looking for.
Izuku?
Izuku looked up at Midnight. Ms. Midnight, he yelled, getting her attention. Just confirm some rules. The rider can jump and move freely as long as they don't touch the ground, correct? She nodded.
Also, can the horses move freely as well? Midnight began to get info in her earpiece.
The horses can move freely as long as they are connected in some way.
Perfect, thank you, Ms. Midnight. Izuku then walked up to two groups surrounding Bakugo and Todoroki.
who saw him approaching.
Bakugo, Todoroki. The three of us should team up.
Izuku spoke normally, but it was enough to silence the surrounding students,
who turned to a surprised Todoroki and Bakugo. Both boys stepped towards Izuku. Why the hell would I ever want to team up with you?
I agree with Bakugo, said Shoto. It would be better if you two were taken out in this challenge.
Izuku smiled. Do either of you want it to end like that?
Both knew what Izuku was saying. Every year of the festival ended with the tournament and both wanted to fight him and each other, but could all three of them work together effectively? Shoto thought it over. You would be the head horse with Bakugo as the rider, correct? Excuse me, as a tick mark appeared on Bakugo's forehead. My speed can match Ida's and I can take a lot of hits, which may never happen with my reaction time. Not to mention I can always cloud walk us away if needed, said Izuku, pointing out how well his abilities would work as a horse.
With Bakugo as the rider, he would have his hands free to blast away, and if needed he could just fly to avoid anyone or attack them, said Todoroki, picking up on Izuku's strategy,
which scared some of the students listening in.
Hey, I haven't agreed to shit, yelled Bakugo. With my ice I can easily defend the side and make a barrier if needed. Todoroki continued, pissing off Bakugo. But we would still need someone to tie everything together. Do you have someone to fill that position? Izuku smiled. I have a few ideas. Bakugo was now growling but stopped. Don't bother, he said as he turned away. I got someone for that role. You want me to be the rider? Then I picked the last horse.
The other students saw this and panicked.
Denki then said what was on everyone's mind. We are so fucked. Chapter 35 Cavalry Fight. Alright, we are back, yelled Mike in the announcer booth, annoying Aizawa.
Let's get to the action. It looks like all the teams are assembled and ready to go. Down in the arena all the teams were assembled, but they were all looking a little nervous and the audience was noticing.
Are they okay? Asked Matazo. They look like they're about to fight a Wendigo. Tomo flinched. Please don't remind me of that thing. I actually think some of them would prefer fighting that right about now,
said Yushiro as he saw some of the looks on his students' faces.
Torino also saw this. None of them better bow out or I'll put them through the ringer. Eri was confused. Why are all of them scared?
That's because they're about to get trounced by our boys, said Mitsuki.
Ain't that right, Inko? Inko gave a weak smile.
Mitsuki, calm down and not so loudly, there are other parents nearby, she whispered. Oh, relax, Inko, said Mitsuki, waving her friend off. When she noticed a woman with white hair gave her a side glance. She then looked down to her son's team and back to the woman.
Oh hey, is that your son down there? The Todoroki family turned to Mitsuki, Fuyumi and Natsu were slightly caught off guard.
They turned to their mother, seeing how she would respond to be called out.
Rei gave a slight smile. Yes, I'm Shoto's mother, Rei.
Rei turned back to the arena thinking that the conversation was over. She was wrong. I'm Mitsuki Bakugo, Katsuki's mom, as she dragged Inko to Rei.
And this is Inko Midoriya, Izuku's mom.
Mitsuki, as Inko freed herself from her grip. I'm sorry for my friend here, she's a little excited.
Oh come on, Inko.
The three of us should be jumping for joy for our boys. Her comments were met with looks from the two women.
Oh come on.
She then grabbed Inko's and Rei's hand and raised them in the air.
Come on boys, make your mamas proud.
As she cheered.
Though this just annoyed Katsuki. That dumb hag. Izuku nudged him. Come on, wave back, as he waved back to his mom, before noticing another woman.
Hey Shoto dash, his words stopped as he saw Shoto's face.
Katsuki and Izuku looked at each other before looking back at Shoto. Shoto? Shoto was looking at his mom, who was looking back at him.
She looked nervous and for a moment didn't know what to do before slowly smiling and waving to her son. It was a simple act, but it felt like a lot to Shoto as he looked at his mother.
Mom! The harnesses are ready. Ha! Shoto jumped slightly. Finally, said Bakugo. Will these hold?
Of course I made them myself, said the inventor Meihatsum.
These cables won't break and the hover boots will allow me and Todoroki to keep up with Midoriya. Izuku inspected the gear. Wow, these are solid, you've done some great work. Mei smiled. Of course I did. You've seen my work, haven't you? The super murder death bracers I made for Bakugo. Izuku and Shoto gave her a nervous stare. The super murder death bracers? Hurry up and put the harnesses on, said Bakugo as he looked around the arena.
The other teams are already set.
Oh. May the angels sing in our favor, said Ibara as she supported Hibiki's foot. Don't worry about that, Ibara, we got this, said Tessatiso holding Hibiki's other foot.
He's right, said Jack, being the main horse.
With our strategy, the only one we need to worry about is Izuku and his team. Hibiki was shaking nervously at the top.
This wasn't how it was supposed to go. I was supposed to get first and show off a little. Now there's a target on my back the size of the moon. She looked at the other teams. When the gun goes off, they're all going to be gunning for my team. They know they have no other chance than to get my 1,000,000 points. Her nervousness began to turn to anger. I could kill all of these fools with ease. I should be killing them. I'm an assassin, a trained assassin, and these ingrates have the audacity to target me.
Hey, she looked down at Jack. Calm down. Don't let your excitement get the better of you. Hibiki was silent for a moment. Don't worry.
I'll be ready for whatever they throw at us.
Shinso examined the field. Daisan, who do you think we should worry about? You mean aside from Demon Slayer, said the boy as he adjusted his glasses.
His friends, the hunting girl and the blonde, are teaming up with the Class B president and the gravity girl. You got that group from Class B with the number 1 headband, the group with the 2 Dark Lords teaming up along with Dash.
What about the midget? Asked Ten. Daisan looked at her confused. The midget? Yuki then got in front of Daisan. The midget, where is he? Kayaki leaned behind Daisan. I think they're talking about the guy who made them fail the exam? Daisan focused. He's over there teaming up with the big octopus guy and the frog girl.
There's our target, said the girl with deer antlers.
Ashika?
Daisan and the others were caught off guard for a moment. None of them had ever seen the girl look so serious. Shinso saw this and turned to the other girl from Class C that made it.
Hey Rizu, do you have any issue with that guy?
The girl with the squirrel quirk shook her head. No, I never took the hero exam. I went straight into general studies, so I don't know what exactly happened.
Shinso hummed for a moment. Well, would you mind teaming up with them? I'm worried they're going to go overboard. Sure. Rizu nodded before running to her team. So what about us? Asked Kayaki.
Well, we're going to need one more. Shinso looked around, noticing an odd man out.
Hey buddy, need a team? Oh.
Alright everyone, the teams are set and the arena is full. It's time to start the cavalry battle, announced Midnight, riling up the crowd. Every team was set and eyeing another team. Everyone is ready to go, so without further ado, let's begin the second round of the UA festival.
Team Bakugo was standing in the corner looking at the other teams. Hey Katsuki, said Izuku, who was the front horse. We don't need any points to win to go to the next round, but that won't fly, will it? Bakugo grinned.
Hell no, I'm going to make us the undisputed champions, so you three better keep up. Mei was actually a little nervous about Bakugo's smile.
This is a cavalry battle, not a race, so.
She then felt something cold at her feet.
She looked down to see Shoto covering his feet in ice along with her boots. What are you doing?
Freezing the bottom of our boots so we can slide around better, was all Shoto said before they all could hear the audible sucking in of air as Izuku began to inhale a massive amount of air.
Just hang on tight.
Mei was beginning to realize she was in over her head.
Begin, shouted Midnight.
Everyone in the arena was then suddenly blinded by an explosion mixed with lightning as Bakugo shot forward, flying past teams Toru, Setsuna, and Tagaru.
Whoa! Bakugo just took 3 headbands all at once, shouted Mike.
Yeah, but where's his horses? Asked Aizawa before Izuku dashed below Bakugo, pulling both Shoto and Mei behind him, similar to a boat dragging an inner tube.
Never mind. Our headband! Shouted Toru. We need to go after them.
We can't, said Sato as all 3 teams' horses found their feet frozen to the ground. Jack saw this and looked at the 3 teams. In that split second when Izuku dashed forward, Shoto froze all of their feet.
Impressive. Hibiki slapped the top of his head. Don't admire them, you idiot, get moving.
Hey, we got incoming, yelled Tessitisu as they saw a team moving straight at them.
Get ready.
Jack got ready to move when suddenly the team moving towards them changed directions, moving around them.
Huh? Where are they going?
Shoji then suddenly had to jump and dodge as several large snowballs came at him.
What the hell?
He looked over to see a team of girls coming at him, 3 of them with very angry eyes.
Mineta, what did you do? Mineta saw the girls from Shoji's back. Why do you think I did something?
Why else would a group of girls be after us? Asked Tsuyu, who was also on Shoji's back. He's the reason we failed the hero exam. The 3 looked up to see 10 above them with a massive snowball.
Payback's a bitch. God damn it, Mineta!
Yelled Shoji as he began running from the rain of giant snowballs. Izuku saw this, I think we should leave those guys for the moment, let them get their revenge. What the hell did that purple bastard do? Asked Bakugo.
Bakugo.
He jumped as a floating hand was reaching for the handbands. Chop chop bitch, as he saw that Setsuna and her team were moving again.
How the hell are those 3 teams moving?
As he landed back with his group.
I thought you froze them?
I did, said Todoroki as he made a wall of ice stopping Team Tagaru from advancing. Could he have something to do with that? Said Mei pointing to Jack whose hand was covered in ash, next to a now freed Team Toru.
That son of a... As Bakugo blew away a giant rock. He then turned to see Yui and Yanagi combining their quirks to make giant rocks at Team Bakugo, annoying Bakugo. Hibiki laughed. That worked better than I thought.
You're really good at pitting people against each other, said Jack as he looked up at Hibiki with a neutral look.
Hibiki eyed Jack. Let's win this first.
This caused both Ibara and Tessitisu to look at each other confused.
Now then, let's deal with the idiot.
As they turned to see Monoma's team heading towards them, hello there Hibiki, as much as I love to see our class on top, I'll be taking the 1,000,000 points now.
Hibiki gave him a look of disbelief. Yeah, and how exactly are you going to do that?
Like this, as he used Rin's quirk to fire several scales at her team.
Hibiki jumped high in the air dodging the scales. Incoming! Yelled a flying Tessitisu. What the hell? Monoma quickly used Kozai's quirk to put up an air wall that gave his team enough time to move away. How?
He then saw that Tessitisu was wrapped in Ibara's vines that connected to Jack, allowing him to swing the metal boy around like a wrecking ball. With the balance of an Olympic gymnast, Hibiki landed perfectly on Jack's shoulder. Oh, it won't be that easy. She then jumped back onto one of Ibara's vines that connected her to Jack. Boys, if you would be so kind. Jack gave her an annoyed look while Tessitisu grinned. Jack pulled on the vine, swinging Tessitisu around as a makeshift weapon. Oh yeah, super move, Metal Man of Fury, yelled Tessitisu, not concerned about being used as a blunt object. Jack swung him at Monoma. That name doesn't make sense. Shouldn't we do something? Asked Ibara. This doesn't feel right, using one's teammate as a weapon. Hibiki looked at Tessitisu. Oh yeah, I think he'll be fine. Jack couldn't help but feel off about this as well. Okay, so here's the strategy. With me, Tessitisu, and Ibara as the horses, we can use Ibara's vines to give us some room, and if needed to use his rope to pull us away if need be. Won't you get hurt? Asked Ibara. I can't retract the thorns on my vines. Don't worry, as Jack covered his arms in soot. With this my arms will be protected, and with Tessitisu's metal. You can use me as a wrecking ball, said Tessitisu, a little too excited. This caused his three teammates to look at him with confused looks. What? Well, it does seem to be working, as Jack swung Tessitisu at another team. Though her words did little to calm Ibara or the watchers. Wow, talk about the unexpected. I've never seen anything like this at a sports festival before. Said Present Mike. Hey, is that legal? Aizawa was actually confirming with Nizu. It's perfectly legal. Hibiki isn't touching the ground, and her horses are still connected with Ibara's vines, and it seems that Tessitisu is perfectly fine being used like that. As Jack used Tessitisu as a shield from Ye's knives. Damn, said Ye, holding a handful of knives. That bastard's skin is tough. Ye, please stop. Asked Melissa, the lead horse for Team Kendo. We shouldn't pick a fight with them. Kendo then saw Team Tokoyami approach them. Ye, give me another ball. Coming right up, as produced another solid metal ball, tossing it up to Kendo. Kendo enlarged her fist, throwing the ball fast at their team. Dark shadow appeared and blocked the ball. Damn, that thing is a lot more annoying than I thought. Well, this wasn't going to be easy, yelped Melissa as the ground became muddy. Ochako, take our gravity away. Ochako quickly took away their gravity. Hang on. Ochako and Ye then quickly held on as Melissa jumped high into the air. Okay, what was that? Ochako looked down and saw where it was coming from. Down there. What the hell is this shit? Yelled Bakugo as his team had trouble moving. Hold still. Ha! Bakugo froze as Shinso's team ran past, snagging two of their headbands. The fuck? Shinso laughed as his team ran away. That was awesome. I am so glad I asked you to be a part of our team. Don't thank me yet, as Juzo kept running. I still think it was a stupid move picking a fight with that team. Incoming! Yelled Daisan. Shinso turned to see the raging Bakugo flying towards them. Shit! I got this, said Kayaki as he used his free hand to point it at Bakugo. Flash! A massive flash of light was emitted from his hand, blinding him. This caused Bakugo and everyone in the area to close their eyes. Shinso turned to 5 o'clock incoming in 4. What the hell is that glasses bastard saying? Thought Bakugo before he felt someone grab his arm he was using to block the light. Bakugo opened his eyes to see Shinso had grabbed his arms and with one fluid movement, threw Bakugo over his shoulder. Wayo, a flying over the shoulder throw, yelled Mike as Izuku lightning over catching Bakugo. Incredible.
This has got to be the greatest sports festival ever. Clearly the general studies students have been training diligently," pointed out Aizawa as the crowd roared. Bakugo was beginning to grind his teeth. "Those bastards. How did he do that?" asked May. "He just caught you and threw you. A vision quirk." "Huh, but people freeze when he speaks." "Not the writer," said Izuku. "It has to be the kid with glasses. The blonde boy has a light quirk, while the glasses kid has some sort of vision quirk that gave him a chance to warn Shinso about Bagwo." "Oh. I see." Hot, Shoto looked up to Bakugo. "Give me some ice." Shinso put on the new headbands over his head. "Alright, we should have more than enough points to move to the next round." "Hey boss man," yelled Ten as her team moved close to Shinso. "Nice catch." "Thanks." Shinso then looked over and saw a huge pile of snow with Shoji and Tsuyu blaring at Mineta. "So I'm guessing you guys got your payback." "Yep, now we wa?" They stopped as both teams were surrounded by ice. "Get back here." They looked over to see Bakugo flying towards low to the ground, setting off small explosions along the ice, resulting in the ice to vaporize, creating a rolling crowd that enveloped the two teams. Bakugo shot through them, stealing all of their headbands. "Eat shit, losers." Izuku caught him and ran in a different direction. "Bakugo, could you please not curse?" "Fuck off," as Bakugo hit Izuku's head. "Will you two stop screwing around and put the headbands on?" said Shoto, raising his voice slightly in an annoyed tone. Shut. Bakugo stopped as the headbands started being pulled away from him. "You're not getting away from me," yelled the floating head of Setsuna. "Give me those headbands. For fuck's sake, woman. Let go." While the two were pulling on the bands, an arrow with a claw instead of an arrowhead hit the headbands. "What?" Momo then used a fishing rod to reel in her catch. "Sorry, Bakugo." Mike couldn't believe it. Wayo Team Momo comes out of nowhere, taking the headbands for themselves. "Alright, Momo," shouted Denki. "Did you get them all?" asked Gita as he was running them away from the other groups. Momo checked. "No, Bakugo still has one of them." It was true, Bakugo did have one headband left, the one they started with. "We're right back to where we started." Bakugo was about to make another jump, but Ojiro used his tail to throw sand at Bakugo's face, pissing him off. "I'm going to kill him." A buzz went over the horn. "That's the 10-minute warning, people. All teams have only 10 minutes left to get as many points as possible," announced Midnight. "Let's go." Jack got the attention of his team. "We just got to keep everyone else away for 10 more minutes, so sta. Hibiki responded by landing on his head, but thanks to his training, Jack barely moved. "Oh, relax," said Hibiki, leaning forward to look down at Jack in the face. "Tessutisa's strategy might be stupid, but it's been working." "Can you please not stand on my head?" asked Jack before he moved as a long thread of tape was shot at them. "You were saying?" "Shut up," as Hibiki jumped back as Zero from Team Mina launched another string of tape at her, or so she thought. Zero then pulled his tape at the last second, causing it to change direction, wrapping around Ibara's vines, pulling her and the vine Hibiki has been using as a foothold. "No!" Before Hibiki fell, Tessutisu landed between her and the ground, giving her a place to land. "Guys, regroup," shouted Jack. "Oh no you don't," said Zero as he wrapped his tape around Jack's head. Mina laughed. "That million is ours," as she threw acid at Hibiki. Tessutisu acted quickly, tossing Hibiki in the air. "Charge Kirishima." "Right," as Kirishima pushed forward. "Wait," yelled Zero, stopping Kirishima. "We might have a problem."
They all turned to Jack as Ciro's tape around his head burst into flames. The flames then jumped and raced down Ciro's tape. Mina used her acid to sever the tape before the flames could reach them. Ash kick. Soon a wave of ash hit Team Mina. Kirishima hardened. Try and get behind me. Aoyama and Ciro moved behind Kirishima the best they could until the wave passed, leaving them winded. Everyone looked at Jack as his face had spots of ash on him and his right pant leg burned. That surprised me, I couldn't breathe for a moment. Hibiki landed on his shoulders. Why the hell didn't you do that sooner? Are you serious right now? Yes, you could have done that sooner, yelled Hibiki as their team regrouped. You could have blown the competition away right from the get-go. Ibara then suddenly dug her vines in the ground, creating a massive wall of vines that quickly froze in ice. Izuku then came dashing around the wall, getting their attention. Hibiki stepped back to Ibara on one of her vines, while Tessitisa stepped forward. Jack locked eyes with Izuku, ready for a fight. The ice vine wall shattered as Bakugo crashed through, grabbing the million-point headband. Gotcha! Izuku grabbed Bakugo and dashed off. Hibiki jumped into Jack's arms. Throw me! Jack understood what she was asking, okay. He then did what she asked for and threw her at Bakugo. Hibiki flew through the air above Team Kendo and across the arena. Mei and Todoroki saw her coming. Hey, we got incoming. Bakugo and Izuku turned to see Hibiki above them for a moment, but Bakugo remained calm. She isn't going to make it. Hibiki then did a front flip in mid-air before sticking her legs out in splits, using it to land on the wires right between Izuku/Bakugo and Shoto/Mei. No fucking way. Holy Batman! Yelled Mike. Jack just flung his teammate Hibiki across the field, using Team Bakugo's own wires connecting his teammates. That was epic. Yeah, he's right, said Mei. That was awesome. Thanks, as Hibiki stood up on the wire. Now give me back my headband. Fuck no, as he set off an explosion at Hibiki, who ducked down, dodging it before responding with a kick, but to her surprise he caught it. You're going to need to do better than that. Hibiki braced as he tried to use a point-blank explosion. Hibiki rolled back, grabbing Todoroki and Mei, keeping herself up. Asshole, is that any way to treat a lady? As the two she was grabbing started to complain. And you two should be happy to carry a lady. Hey, I am a lady, yelled Mei before she tried to hit Hibiki, who jumped back up onto the wires. I am not losing to some barbarian and a faker. Faker? Thought Izuku before getting back to reality. Hang on. Breath of lightning. Izuku then pulled his team around the arena, passing several other teams trying to shake Hibiki off. Hibiki grabbed hold of the wires and held on tight as she got thrown around. Hibiki, hand after hand, pulled closer to Izuku. I did not sign up for a damn rodeo. Hibiki then breathed in. Sound kill, silent roar. Hibiki jumped forward, hands out. I may not have my swords, but with my quirk I can turn my nails into vibrating razor blades. Bakugo let off an explosion, but to his surprise it was cut in half. What a minute! Izuku saw it as well. That was... crunch! Several people sitting by him turned to look at Yushiro, who broke his arm rest. Mr. Yushiro, are you okay? Asked Eri. That was a breathing technique, he said, simply confusing a few but causing Nizu, All Might and Gran Torino's eyes to widen. Well. Looks like we've found our mole, said Gran Torino quietly so only All Might and Nizu could hear him. What do we do? Asked All Might. I believe a parent-teacher conference is in order, as Nizu made plans. Oh. Izuku was so surprised by Hibiki that he didn't notice Tessutisu until he was right about to crash into him.
Tessutisu! Izuku jumped above him to dodge, but because Bakugo was riding on his back, it threw the exploding boy off balance.
Hibiki jumped forward, grabbing the band around Bakugo's neck, before using him as a springboard, backflipping away, back to her team,
landing on Jack's shoulders. "So did you miss me already?" Jack gave her a tired look. "Please just tell me you got the headband?"
"Right here," she said, holding the headband.
"1,000,000 points." Ibara moved closer to take a look. Hibiki, that doesn't say 1,000,000.
"Wait, what?"
Hibiki held the headband up. "This one is only worth 650 points.
She turned to Bakugo, who was glaring daggers at her. She then noticed the headband he was wearing was the one worth 1,000,000.
"I grabbed the wrong one." "Time's up!" yelled Midnight as the buzzer went off. "The winners are Team Bakugo." The crowd went ballistic at the show they just saw. Though no one on Team Bakugo were cheering.
Mei was working on her gear, Shoto was waving back up to his family, and Bakugo was walking up to Izuku.
"Hey nerd, that she used to cut my explosion, that was your move, wasn't it?" "I'm surprised you'd notice," responded Izuku, not hiding the fact, confirming Bakugo's suspicions.
"I've been waiting to kick your ass for over a year. I recognize your moves when I see them,"
said Bakugo as he eyed Hibiki. "Who is she?" "Most likely an enemy."
"Oh." Hibiki, on the other hand, was looking down. "I'm sorry guys, I should have gotten the right headband."
"Hey, don't worry about it."
As Tessutisu gave her a pat on the back, almost knocking her over.
"It was awesome. We were awesome.
Jack's leadership, Ibara's vine action, and your super ninja skills were incredible." "Ninja," Hibiki then realized just how much of her skill she showed off.
"Oh no, I was so focused on winning I showed off way too much. Grandfather will not be pleased with this." "Can I get everyone's attention please?" asked Midnight as the arena quieted down for her.
As you all know, the final round of the sports festival each and every year is a tournament. Though this year, since we have expanded our classes, so will the tournament. This year the number of students will not be just 16 but a whopping 32 students participating in the tournament. It will be the largest tournament in UA history. This got the crowd excited to see more action. So without further ado, in no particular order, let's say hello to our 32 contestants.
1. Izuku Midoriya.
2. Katsuki Bakugo.
3. Shoto Todoroki. 4. Mei Hatsum. 5. Jack Mukyu. 6. Ibara Shiozaki. 7. Tessutisu. 8. Hibiki Yuzui. 9. Ochako Uraraka. 10. Itsuka Kendo. 11. Melissa Shield. 12. Yae Ryoshi. 13. Hitoshi Shinso. 14. Kayaki Reito. 15. Daisen Miru. 16. Rizu Shirmari. 17. Tenmetsu. 18. Shika Jika. 19. Yuki Suno Enjuro. 20. Denki Kaminari. 21. Momo Yayorozu. 22. Tenya Ida. 23. Mashareo Ojiro. 24. Eijiro Kurishima. 25. Mina Ashido. 26. Hanta Siro. 27. Nito Monoma. 28. Yuga Aoyama. 29. Koziei Tsuburaba. 30. Hiria Rin. 31. Sen Kaibara. 32. Juzo Hananuki. We will show the fighting brackets right after this break.